Happy New Year, everybody.
Hello,
Welcome.
hello. Hi,
Hello,
ladies.
ladies.
We have Candy and Debbie on the panel today. Welcome to Marianne's Monday Jumpstart, where we're going to make Monday a day we look forward to instead of a dreaded day after the happy weekend. Hi, Tina. Welcome. Good morning, Lois. Hi, Gigi. Hey, Dawn. Good to see you. Hello, Kathy and Lois. Hey, Glynis. Whoop, whoop. Okay, I'm going to step out for just 1 second. If you guys can chat with Candy and Debbie, I'll be right
Go
back.
on. I don't feel like chatting, ladies, so you have to talk to Debbie.
Uh-oh.
I'm just kidding.
All righty. Hey, Miss Margie. I see Miss Glennis and Tina and Kathy and Lois and Dawn. And who else am I missing? Good morning, or afternoon. It's afternoon where
Lois.
all y'all are.
Hey, Margie.
It's still morning for me.
Oh, it's
But my snow
it's
is
after
almost
1 for
done.
me.
It rained all night long here, and so we went from 8 inches of snow yesterday to like nothing today. So that's kind of I could go out. I could go out. I could get in the car and drive even.
Really?
Yeah, I've already been down to my dad's, and we had the
Oh,
opportunity to
that's
get a
cool.
chair for him, that one of those when you sit
That
and you press a button, it'll push you out.
pulls you up. My
Yeah,
husband wants one of those.
yeah. So well, I might want one. Oh, that's the cat. Sorry. Oh, he's gonna hang out. Cat behind. So,
Oh, Massimo.
Massimo.
Hello,
Oh,
Mr.
Margie, did you get
Massimo.
your snowbinder's machine? Awesome.
Mr. Kitty. Aw, what a
Am I
sweetie.
echoing?
He's starting to get used to all the voices, isn't he?
I guess.
Aw, he's a cute. Let's see who else came in. Good morning, Margie. Nope, you didn't miss
Hi,
much. We started
Julie.
2 minutes late. I just had to run out of the room and came back in. Just guess, just guess. Oh, guess what came today? I'll bet it's your new die cutting machine, your new embossing machine, your
Awesome.
spellbinders. Whoop whoop! Already nice. That's exciting. Kitty cat, that is Mr. Massimo. Let's see if we can get him full screen. There we are. Mr. Massimo, look up. Oh, look at the little paw. Mama, I want to play.
Yeah, this is
Oh,
so weird. He never gets up on the table.
that is
Mine
So,
so
did too that one night.
cute.
I'm like, it's silly.
Hi,
yeah, what's the
Julie.
deal?
Hi, Margie. I said Margie. I meant Trudy. I saw Trudy after your name.
Oh, hi, Judy.
Hi, Trudy. Hi, Trudy, artistically
Hi,
creative.
Trudy.
And hi, Julie. Good to see you guys. So glad your machine came. I know you've been waiting for that. That's awesome. Yeah, Mr. Massimo, he's super cute. He's a precious little guy. Okay, I am really excited about today. Hi, Dolphin. How are you? Hey, Carolyn. Is it Carolyn or Caroline? Will you put it in there phonetically so you can just see Carolyn or Caroline? Just saw yesterday the Sizzix has an electronic machine coming very soon. Wow. Wow, wow, wow.
What I heard was they were going to do away with the vagabond and
Oh,
replace
is
it
that what
with
they're replacing it with? Replacing
that's
the
what I
Babylon?
heard, but it was supposed to come out last year.
Oh, 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 oh. Guys, we're starting. It's a brand new year. Happy New Year! Happy New Year! Either one works. I go by Carol, Carolyn, and Caroline equally. I think Carolyn, you're Caroline. You're the same Kim that I had some contact with some months ago, probably last year, huh? And then it's been a while since I've seen you. Julie left Bible Julie journaling for beginners live just to be with us. Oh, Julie, that's awesome. Awesome. Hub. Well, go have hubby time, Trudy. We totally understand that. Oh, Dawn, the local scrapbook store is taking pre orders for the new Spellbinders machine. Yes, it has been a while, Carolyn, Caroline. I'll probably say Carolyn. That seems to be what I always go to. It's been probably a year. So happy to see you. I am really excited. It's 2022. It is a new year. And every single day is a chance for a fresh start, a new day, a new change, or whatever we want. But there's something about a new year. Oh, Massimo's being so darn cute. I love that.
Well, he never does this. He never gets up on the table.
Well, you better be playing with him then. I love
But I've
that.
been gone all morning, so
Oh,
It's
oh.
like, how dare you get on a live after ignoring me all morning?
I know.
You don't have to support me all morning. There's something about the new year that is motivating to say, okay, it's all fresh. Let's start. Let's get things in gear, do what we want to do. I tend to do that at the beginning of every month or the beginning, at my birthday or at a holiday, and take advantage of all those times for a fresh start, which is why I don't really set New Year's resolutions, but I do set goals. And those goals are not always with New Year's. Those goals are, like I said, like maybe at my birthday or maybe on a holiday. Anything that is a mark of time that I take that as a fresh start. And that's when I set goals and move forward from there. So, Candy, we need to type these in the same font that we use for Marianne's Monday Jumpstart and print them out. But you've all heard me say, okay, here's the big test. Hi, Tabitha. Yeah, Debbie has cute company, huh? Here's the
Thank you.
I've been saying that 2022 is the year of three things. Do y'all remember what they are? It's the first one. Do you mind if I share the link to the live I just mentioned? Let's share it in the group later, Julie. Let's hang on to it, but let's talk about it and then do it later. 2022, the year of three things. Anybody remember what the first one is? Anybody remember? You have to. I've been saying these for.
Use your stuff so we can buy more. That's number 3, Margie.
That's number 3.
Yep.
Okay, I'm gonna
We're not
get.
helping you, ladies. We
Sorry,
got schooled
Massimo.
right before we started.
They know him. So, hi, Laura. You can see him in the description. See? Well, at least you're smart enough to look in the description box. So that's awesome. Yeah, it is number 1, the year that we all get organized, right? Now, don't let that overwhelm you, because getting organized doesn't mean that you're going to go in and overhaul everything top to bottom right now and be organized. That's not how it works. That's just overwhelming. It means that we're going to look at one thing, one place, one drawer, one item like ink or paper, whatever it is. You're going to take things one at a time, which is one bite at a time. The bites can be different, but that is primarily what Tuesday's tips in 10 is going to help us with. So every Tuesday at noon Mountain Time, there's going to be a 10-minute or less. Tomorrow's is like 5 minutes. They're going to be short and sweet so that you can just get in, get your organizational bits, bites, tips, whatever you want to call them, and get out and get something done. But that's primarily what Tuesday is. So this is the year we're going to help each other get organized in whatever ways we want to. It means Margie's going to move to a twice as big room, right, Margie? Number 2, the second
expand
thing.
Creativity.
Expand. That's a good word. Expand creativity. You got it, Gigi. The second thing is or release our creativity. We'll get these printed out better than my quick handwriting. So release our creativity. Okay, so many of us get hung up in trying to be perfect because we have this image of what things have to be or what other people are going to think of us, or we are so afraid of doing something wrong that we freeze and don't do anything. And there is no wrong in art. Everybody says that, but do you really believe it for yourself? spreading from room to room. Total 3. I love it, Tabitha. We should just take over the house. It's the year we take over the house. With that, well, oh, that would be awesome. More than twice the size. Yeah, Marty's going to a way bigger room. Release the Kraken. I think
That's a
we're
good
all
one,
Kraken
Margie.
this morning. We're a little hyper on Kraken after the weekend. We had a fantastic weekend. It was morning till night, Friday and Saturday. Sunday, for those of us behind the scenes, it was still morning till night, and we're still a little wound from that. So, and number 3, this is the one we all remember very well. Debbie, what's number 3?
Use more paper so I can buy more paper.
That's right. I love the way she said that, because I totally agree. I love pretty paper, but if I don't use it, I don't have anywhere to put new paper.
It's the little things
So-
that make Debbie happy.
Yes, like paper clips.
Yeah, paper clips. But isn't it nice to be able to be happy with the little things? It's the year we're going to use our supplies. Okay, give me a me in chat if you have supplies that you purchased that you have never used, that looked really great, that you saw somebody do something, sounded amazing, looked fun, and you bought it and you've not used it. And now you think about it and think, oh, I'm not sure what to do with it. I don't know how to use it. I'm afraid to try it because it seems a little scary or overwhelming. How many of you have something that you have? Okay, I got to go over here to chat. I got to put in my me. How many of you have something in your supplies that you have not yet used? Usually use it once and then usually use it once when you open the package. There it is. You take it out.
Yeah.
Just
Now
try
paper's
it out.
different, ladies. Now we all have paper we haven't used because
Sure.
use it
Well,
because it's so pretty. But
and it doesn't mean everything, but you've used paper, so
Yeah.
that's But do you have binding machine? Carolyn, do you have the Zutter or the Cinch? 400 single sheets in the last month. Nice. Fuse tool. Okay. All right.
Oh yeah, I forgot about the fuse tool. I used it, but it didn't work like I thought it was going to work. So I probably did something wrong. And I was like, well, I need to watch a video. And I
It
just
is a
never got to a
weird.
video.
Yeah, it is a different one.
Oh.
Okay, so I mean, hang on to what those items are in just a minute. I'm gonna ask you to put those in there, but right now, is there anybody that doesn't have a supply that they have not used? Pretty much.
I struggle with the rice paper.
Okay.
I've only used one sheet and it was difficult for me. And the other thing I have, the Tim Holtz crayons, I have every single color and have never used them.
I don't know what to do with them. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So once you learn how to use those crayons, though, you're going to love them.
I have every single color except the brand new ones that aren't out yet. Let's see. I'm looking in my room here. What do I have?
So, okay, let's do this. Start making a list next to you of the things that you have, all of you, that you haven't used. So it seems like I don't think there was anybody that didn't put a me in there, that we all have something that either we haven't had time, taken time, don't know what to do with it, seems overwhelming. It's there's a fear of like, oh gosh, how do I even use that? We're going to do that. And we're going to do these two. Number 1 is a lot on Tuesday. Number 2 and 3, we're going to do a lot right here every Monday. So we're going to do things that release our creativity, and we're going to use our supplies. So Julie, she was talking about the Tim Holtz crayons, but there's a lot of different brands of crayons. I'm going to bring them back on here. And I want to share with you a couple of things. And I want just a little bit of feedback here. Creativity takes courage. This is a quote. Maybe I should go back here to the single. I'll do that in a second. Creativity takes courage. This is a quote by Henry Matisse. Do you believe that? Does it make sense? Do you think?
Yes.
What are your thoughts about that? Why does it take courage? Candy or Debbie, you can just speak out. Everybody else just type in
for me,
comments.
It is that for me, it's when I go outside my box, like Saturday night, it's that fear of failure. It's the fear of not good enough. It's the fear of messing up. It's the fear of I have one piece of paper and oh crud, now I don't. And so Saturday night was big for me to do that envelope.
It was huge. You guys don't know. That's not really a comfort zone for Debbie to come on live on the Saturday night. And if you were there, if you were there Saturday night, if you weren't there, I'm gonna suggest you go back and watch Saturday night, especially when you need a really good laugh. Oh my goodness,
and Debbie did great. Debbie did great, and I was just laughing because I knew she was outside her comfort zone.
But what I want to say is that I want you to go back and I want you to look at the albums that Debbie showed, which is also outside of her comfort zone. That Debbie showed her albums that she made, which are amazing. And that is not an over-exaggeration, is it, Candy?
No, they are amazing. They were
truly amazing. They're gorgeous. When I saw the steampunk, I wanted to buy it right away, and she will not sell it, which I don't blame her because I want to make one like her and keep it too.
Well, it has a lot of mistakes on it.
Nobody knows that they're mistakes except you. And truly, are they mistakes or are they just different than somebody else said to do?
Well, it's like when you have an edge, I want my edges to be straight. Or if if I'm putting a piece of paper on, I don't want a corner that's been, rubbed up or it's that perfection thing. It's that, is it enough? Being enough?
Julie just said the perfectionist in me tries to take over and is scared I'll make a mistake.
Exactly, Julie. Exactly.
Yeah, and I totally get that. I have lived with that my entire life. I've purposely, the last 3 or 4 years, I've been purposefully trying to break that box around me because I have lived with that my whole life. And so I totally get that. The funny thing is, though, if you were talking to somebody else, and they were saying the same thing, you'd probably say to them, there are no mistakes in art. Whatever you do is your art and it's okay. And if you don't like it, you just do something over it or you keep working it until it becomes something you like. Wouldn't you? We all would. We'd say that to somebody else, but to ourselves, we're much more critical, much more judgmental, much more afraid. And it's that afraid of not being perfect, afraid of what somebody else will think, afraid of wasting a piece of paper, afraid of all the things. That's why it takes courage. And so when you see what Debbie showed on Saturday night, that is what she makes and is really great at. That's her comfort zone. And so what we did Saturday night with the padded Amazon envelopes was totally out of her comfort zone. And she was willing to say, all right, I don't have a set of instructions here. I'm just going to do what you tell me to do and use these things that are way not measured and, like my albums are. And she had the courage to try that. And a whole new side of creativity came out with that. And her book turned out fantastic from Saturday night. Because she was willing to step outside, have the courage to step outside of what she knows and what she's comfortable with and explore a little bit. So, Julie, whenever we do something, Julie, I always use Julie as an example, and I know she doesn't mind. But hi, Lisa. Glad to see you. Julie likes to watch the things and then go do them later. She wants to see the outcome. And then when she knows what the outcome should be, then she goes back and makes it with that in mind. When we can get Julie to do something along with us without knowing the outcome and just doing like you tell us what to do, it's like we tell you what to do and do step by step and just do it without knowing what's next. Julie ends up with the most gorgeous items and pieces of art, and everybody fawns all over them because her natural creativity comes out and they are gorgeous. But if she knows what the end is supposed to be, that's she just says perfectionist in her comes out, wants to take control, and says it should be like this. And when something starts to tell us it should be like this, that cuts off your creativity. It completely cuts off your creativity. So it's still hard, isn't it, Julie? It is still hard to it's still hard to let that go and just do it. And it's been really difficult to do it. But every time she does it, there is an excitement that I see in Julie at the end of what she's got because the creativity came out and she didn't know what she was going to end up with. And it's really exciting because I watch everybody go, "Oh my gosh, Julie, that's gorgeous." And she had no idea. So I use Julie as an example because it's a super positive example of how when we can, okay, and here's what we do. I do this to myself, and it's what we do, what Julie has allowed us to help her do. We trick our minds. If I know that my mind is going to say this is what it should be and this is how it should be, and nope, can't do that because we do this and it's got to be this and it's be that. If I know that's what my mind is going to do, then I just use something to trick my mind so that my mind can't use that perfectionism to try to take control and make it what it's always been. I want to allow the creativity to come out because that's how, okay, Julie, again, perfect example. That's how Julie found out that she loves grunge and that whole other side. She was always attracted to looking at it. She didn't know that she could do it. Is that right, Julie? I'm going to go up and read. Julie didn't know that that was something she could actually do. She thought it was something that she just enjoyed looking at. She didn't know she had it in her to do until she tricked her mind into allowing herself just to follow and do the unknown. And then she found out that she has that whole ability, creativity inside herself to do that she loves. Julie says, I grew up believing if what I do isn't perfect, it's no good, which meant I'm no good and fit for the rubbish tin, which means the trash bin, the garbage can. Glad I'm not that bad anymore. But it is a constant fight, isn't it, Julie? And I get that because I grew up the exact same way. If what I do isn't perfect, then it's no good. It's not worth it or worthy. Therefore, I am not any good or worthy. So it has to be perfect. There's just no other option. And even though we're moving past that, it's still a constant fight because our brain wants to default to that because that's what we've known our whole lives. So not to dwell on that too much longer, but does anybody else feel that? Anybody else, kind of in that lane or grown up that way?
Gigi said she was afraid of judgment. Laura said she didn't want to. She doesn't want to waste or ruin things.
Keep working till you like a thing. Sometimes it is. It's just not perfect. It's going to be good enough. That's right, Laura. It doesn't always have to be perfect. Sometimes good is good enough. And sometimes you don't keep working on it now, but you set it aside. You come back to it later. You see it with new eyes and you have a whole different idea of what to do with it. Sometimes you start out with something in mind and it just doesn't work. And you end up just setting it aside and then using it as a background or to cut up or to punch out, and use it punch in butterflies or hearts or whatever. It isn't always, that's part of the creativity is your brain allowing it to change as you go instead of deciding up front exactly how it's going to be or what it's going to be.
And also, when you're doing something, you have that vision in your head and you can't quite get there, you're not going to like what's on the table. So if you walk away and come back to it, a lot of times you like it because you've had time to get that other vision out of your head.
Yes, that's a really good point. And if you allow yourself to see what's there,
and no one else can see all the things that didn't match the picture in your head. That's what Laura said, and that's perfect.
True. Sometimes they look at it and they say, "Oh, that's so cool," and you're busy saying all the things that are wrong with it.
Yes.
Well, they didn't know that was the vision.
Debbie.
They just, yeah. Well, they didn't know that was your vision, and it's not perfect. All they know is what they see, and what they see is really cool. So
and I grew up with my grandfather who always told me that nothing is ever perfect. Nothing. I mean, he was perfect in my eyes, but he said nothing is ever perfect. If you waste your life trying to make everything perfect, you let the good things pass you by.
That's a very point. Salvador Dali.
That's awesome.
That's a very good point. Thank you for that. I love that. I'm coming from.
I love my grandfather, ladies. I loved him.
Oh, I've heard good stories about her grandfather, and he's an amazing, amazing man. And for him to say that and instill that in you, man, that's why this stuff.
Wait. Can I tell you? We did houses together. He converted his old grandmother's house into apartments, right? So that means you had to make 3 kitchens, 3 bathrooms. He separated one house into 4. So when I was helping him do all that stuff, nothing was perfect in that house. And that's when he told me that. He said, look, it works. Nobody can see what's underneath. It looks good and it works great. So that's all that matters.
Okay, and I think that the lesson there is that he understood that there were things more important than worrying about the perfection of it.
Yes, he was. Well, because he wasn't perfect himself after he had that auto accident and, was in the shape that he was in. It was lucky that he was doing anything, so.
And yet he still kept going. He never gave up.
No.
So Salvador Dali said it in different words. Have no fear of perfection. You'll never reach it anyways. That's what Candy's grandpa said. Nothing is perfect. Nobody is perfect. It never will be. So quit looking for perfect because it's never going to be. Let me see if I can get my camera straight there. There we go.
Your sound is off a little bit.
It sounds like you're in a tunnel again.
I just set my book on the microphone. Sorry, is that better?
Yep.
Oh, God, we're going to have to give you a mic teaching lesson.
I know.
This last weekend, you forgot all your lessons, Marianne.
I need to get my Yeti connected. I haven't taken any time to get my own Christmas presents connected.
Oh, yeah, you do.
Yeah. Let's see. Dawn had an 8th grade art teacher that didn't appreciate her vision and always told her it wasn't good enough. Oh, Dawn, that's the kind of person that should not be a teacher. Honestly, should not be a teacher.
Look down below. Man, does that say it?
But, then what? What are you talking? Like 40, 50 years later? That's still rolling through her head. Because that one person.
Yeah.
And it's because that one person's opinion, who was probably so unhappy and miserable in life that he didn't want anybody else to be happy anyway. It doesn't matter.
My son was like that too. He drew amazing things in high school. He dead draws, which he doesn't sketch. He dead draws, and he draw these fantastical creatures, like Transformer dragons or whatever. And one of the kids, I think in his 11th grade year or 12th grade year, told him that those were stupid, and he hasn't drawn since.
Wow. And you know what? It was probably the kid. It was probably the kid that was jealous. It was probably the kid that was jealous of him because he couldn't do that. And so he wanted to cut somebody else down. Because that kid didn't receive enough confirmation that he was okay just as he was. And life is not a competition. It's not a competition with each other. It's building each other up, learning from each other, growing from it with each other, helping each other. We're all better people. You move up the ladder by pushing those up ahead of you and pulling those up behind you. We don't move up the ladder by stepping on everybody's shoulders and heads and trying to kick them off the ladder and stand there alone. And when I say ladder, it's the ladder of life. It doesn't matter whether it's a job, or a position or, artistry, whatever it is. There is never a space where there is only room for one. It doesn't matter what that space is. There is always room for everyone. And especially in our community of art and creativity, no matter what it is, all gamuts of art and creativity, there is room for everybody. Because I guarantee you that we could all do the same project. We see this every day. And every one of them would be different. And we could put them out there in an art show all lined up, and there would be somebody that would be drawn to Candy's, and somebody that would be drawn to Debbie's, and somebody that would be drawn to Julie's and to Glennis's and to Dawn's and to mine, and different people would be drawn to different ones because nobody's the same and there is no perfect and it doesn't matter.
If you switch to mine, I can show you his drawings. You want to see what he drew?
Yeah. Let me get there. Oh my gosh!
Wow.
High school? This was in high school?
Yes.
Wow.
How amazing.
Okay, that's not just a little sketch or a kid messing around. That's a complete artist rendering. Those could be used for games, for gamers, or for sci-fi movies. Holy cow.
Yeah.
I'm glad you hung on to those.
Oh, I did. I've scanned them. I've scanned a lot of them, and the ones he did on the notebook paper, it's been really hard for me to get the lines out of them. I've got a lot where they're faded, but I can't get them all the way out. But
yeah,
I still love them. I kept them all, kept every single one.
Good. That is so cool. I wanted to go back here and read a couple more comments. Glennis said, only my brothers could do good. My sisters and I were useless. Unfortunately, a lot of what we are stuck with comes from what we grew up with, which is parents and families, surroundings. That is unfortunate.
Yeah. And people think he traced those because he dead draws. But if you look, he does have erasers in there, but he doesn't do the sketch. He just does.
Doesn't matter. Yeah.
And and it's amazing to watch him because he starts it and you're like, well, how did you know? Oh, whatever. I can't do that.
Yeah. How did you know it was going to be right there? Yes.
Yeah.
And form it. Yeah. So, Dawn is right. That's what this group is for, is to lift each other up. And here's the thing, is I want for us all, when I say release our creativity this year, that really means kind of two things. One is to open our minds, to be open to when somebody else in the group says, wow, that's really cool. That's really amazing. Don't let your brain instantly cut it off. Oh no, look at all these mistakes, and say all the things that are wrong and all the reasons why it isn't great. Don't do that. Let's be open to somebody else saying, wow, I really like that. And let's absorb that and say, wow, somebody really likes my work. That's awesome. Yeah. That makes me feel good. It makes me want to do more.
Pass on your words, ladies. I wish he would draw again.
Oh, yes.
I think part of it was he got in trouble because, those notebooks that he was drawing, and he was supposed to be taking notes. And he was not getting good grades. So I bought him all these art books, and I told him the only place he could draw in was these art books, not his notebooks.
Yeah, he should have been in art school. Obviously, he could draw. He could illustrate comic books. He could illustrate sci-fi movies. Man, he could do a lot.
His imagination is not as when you get older, your imagination isn't as fantastic as when you were
younger, and it isn't because
he says he can't see them anymore. Yeah, he can't see them anymore, he said.
Well, you know why that is? Because he cut it off.
Kids made fun of him, and and I felt so bad.
You just want to go kick those kids in the behind. Yeah.
Yes, and I've asked him to draw me a couple dragons, He did draw me one dragon once. When I was going to school, I wanted a dragon coming out of an egg.
Yeah. Oh, cool.
A baby dragon, and he did draw me one of those. But that was the last thing he did.
Yeah,
he won't do it. He won't do it for me again. I was like, "Don't we another one? Another one? Can you draw me another one, please, please, please?"
Yeah. Well, and it kind of goes to, you might have heard, it takes 10 compliments to erase or negate or offset the one negative comment.
Yeah.
And it's proof. If we look at ourselves, it's proof. Our creativity shows it. It's that one person criticizes or doesn't like. Okay, and here's the thing. They say they don't like. Most of the time, it is jealousy. They can't do what he was drawing there. They don't want him to do it and feel good about himself, so they're going to cut him down. And we don't know that as kids, that it's jealousy. So we think it's really not any good, and we're really not any good. That one negative thing, and even 10 positive comments that he's had since, still has not negated that. And there's a whole career right there if he wanted to pursue that. He's amazing.
I know, and he won't. And so he drew them. He named them. Some of them are named. He's got weapons. Yeah. He named weapons. Made up names for weapons and stuff. Yeah, it was cool. He did a lot of cool stuff.
That really is cool. But what it's easy to see that for somebody else. It's easy to look at his and see that. And it's easy to look at
Um,
Julie and see that because she does amazing work. But I want
you know,
everybody to look at your own and see where we're
yeah,
doing that to ourselves and about ourselves.
they
And
are
that's what,
sincere, but
yes,
okay, here's the other thing. Even if you don't like it, doesn't mean somebody else is not going to like it. And
correct.
I don't always, I don't know. Yes, you don't want everybody just say, "Oh, it looks good, it looks terrible," but most of
Right.
us will tell you, maybe if you tried adding something here or something there, it's not
Yes.
that it's bad. It just might not be complete.
And that's not criticism. That's somebody who
No.
wants us to be successful and wants us to get the best we can out of our art, who's saying, "Oh, here's a thought to consider because yeah, it's amazing, it's wonderful, but maybe it's not quite complete and we just
Yeah.
don't know what to do." A lot of times you guys will put things out there and say, "I feel like it needs something more, but I'm not sure what it is." And
Yeah.
people will put very positive suggestions. Nobody ever says anything negative or critical in that way. And it doesn't, here's the other thing about art. I may not care for, say, I didn't care for those kind of drawings, but I can
Yeah.
appreciate the artistry that it takes to do that. And
Yeah.
I can appreciate the talent that is there. That might not be the kind of art that I would frame and put up in my house, but wow, am I impressed because I know what it takes to do that. And there is a skill there that I don't have for sure.
And they're all very detailed like that.
Yeah, they are.
They
Look at
all got
that.
little details in them. Yeah.
Very, very detailed. So you don't have to love an art style or type to appreciate the artistry behind it. You may never want to learn to knit or to crochet, but you can look at a napkin that Margie made and say, wow, I can appreciate and understand the artistry that's behind that. And that's a skill. And this is really gorgeous. No, it's not something I would want in my house, but it's gorgeous. And there's nothing wrong with that because everybody can't like everything.
No.
That's why we're all
But
attracted to
case
different
in point,
things.
I don't like Van Gogh. I don't like his stuff. I don't think it's pretty. I don't like it. I don't see the
Yeah.
big deal.
But you can totally appreciate the artistry that's there. And there
I don't
might
even
be
know if I can
somebody else.
appreciate the artistry that's there. I'm just saying, I don't get it. I don't get
Yeah.
it.
And it's the same thing with ours. Everybody isn't
Yeah.
going to love everything
No.
we make either, but some people are. And as artists, we can look at each other's productions and appreciate the skill and the artistry and the work and know what goes into it and appreciate that about it. And I can have great appreciation. I can look at somebody's art and say, "Wow, look at those brush strokes, how perfect they are." I'm not crazy
Yeah.
about the painting because it's
That's
not my
not for me. I'm
style,
not.
but boy, I
The
am
brush
so
strokes,
impressed
no.
with that. Yeah, I wish I could do that. I mean, you
I'm
could
more impressed with the
really,
people that make, how they make those, what was it called, where they made the pictures, they were made out of little dots.
oh,
What was
yes,
that
like the
called?
pixels, the um,
Well, they did
yeah,
it. They did it back when with paint too. I can't remember
yes,
the artist's name because I suck at remembering artist names. People, I do. But I was more impressed with those than I was with Van Gogh's painting, because
yes.
it's just little dots, and that's a little bit harder for me. I'm like, wow, look at the time. And the other ones that amaze me are the street artists or whatever that you see out there that they just start painting a wall and make it look real. To me, that is art
Yeah.
more
Yes.
so
I
than Van
totally.
Gogh or all that. I
And see, and somebody else might go, Candy, I don't know what you're talking about because I
I know
love Van Gogh.
exactly. Yeah, pointillism. That's it. That's what I was looking for.
Pointillism. There you go. Yeah.
My husband took an art class, and I had to do all of his study guides for him, and that's why I remembered some of that
Uh,
stuff.
okay, so listen to this. Julie says, Mom, when she was in school, their homework was to draw a map of Australia by hand. So she did it. The teacher got it in his head that she traced it because it was so good, and she got in trouble in front of the whole class,
And it
and
was
she never
like,
drew again.
and it was dead drawing, and that's what people think. They think this is trace, and it's not.
So, can I share something personal with you on that? When I was in sixth grade, we had a similar assignment, and I looked through a magazine and I found a picture of a beautiful red rose. I thought it was gorgeous. It was in an ad, and it was not the full page. It was about, half the page or 2/3 of the page. And that's what I wanted to draw. But I didn't feel like I had, the skill to just draw it. I set it down and I set my paper next to it and I looked at it and I drew it, and I drew it the exact same size because that's the only way I could translate it was, this line goes here about that long. So I did that and I drew that rose exactly as I saw it, exactly the same size. And Julie, I went to school and got accused of tracing that rose. And that was 6th grade. I'm 59 years old and it still haunts me to this day. I was devastated that somebody thought that I didn't have the ethics or the character to not trace it because the assignment was to draw it. I would never trace it and then call it my own. I was devastated and I was so excited because for the first time in my life, I felt like I had drawn something that was worth showing to somebody. And my mom was a great artist. She could draw, she could paint, and I always wanted to. And I was so happy with that rose. And then to be told that you traced it, you're lying, you traced it. Yeah, I did the same thing. And it's horrible. Why do we do that to each other?
Well, and Julie asked, why do teachers do that? And part of it, Julie, is they're dealing with how many umpteen kids every year, and 50 to 70% of them probably do lie. So they don't recognize when somebody isn't lying. That's about what it boils down to.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And as a teacher, though, a teacher
need to be careful.
Be very careful with that because they have to remember that they are, with one sentence, they can change a child's life trajectory. They can affect the child's self-worth. And even with children, there's an assignment for art. The teacher can look at it and go, ugh, I don't like that at all. That doesn't mean that child doesn't have skill as an artist. It just means that the teacher doesn't care for that kind of art. And so you have to look at it from the eyes of the artistic skill and the artistic expression, not what the outcome is, whether it's attractive to you or not. And that's how I kind of look at all art, because if I just glance at it, it's like attracted to it or not attracted. And then I go back to it and I say, look at that. Wow, I'm really impressed with this and this, even though I would never put this in my house. Wow, I can appreciate what it took to make this. And I wish that the whole world would start looking at people's art like that. It doesn't mean you have to love it all to have it all. Just appreciate it. Tina, this is a really good point.
Everybody might not be Margie, but I am. Okay? Just remember that. Okay?
Yes, we know that.
I'm not to that comment yet. What did Margie say?
No, nobody's perfect.
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
well,
I
Candy
am.
is. Okay. All right. So here's a really good point I want to think about and see what you have to say. Tina says, I always just think, oh, you're just saying that because I'm in the group and you're in the group and you can't criticize in the group or critique in the group. So if I put something in the group, you're all just saying, oh, that's wonderful. I love that, because I'm in the group. What do you say about that?
No. If I take the time to leave a comment, I'm giving you a true comment. Sometimes, and a lot of times I don't see stuff, so don't think that just because I don't leave a comment means I don't like it. But I'm just saying, when I see something, if I don't like it, I might just put a like on it, or or whatever. But I like most everything that everybody's put in there. There's only been like one thing I haven't liked, and I just didn't get it, and it was just me.
Right. But again, when you start looking at things from an artistic eye, not do I like this enough that I would put it in my house, but wow, I have seen things in our group that I've said, wow, because I can appreciate what it took to do that and how they did it, even though it wasn't my taste. And I'm with Candy. If I take time to comment, and I do try, if I see it, I try to comment, and my comments are always sincere. I'm not going to blow smoke, but I love when somebody says, I feel like this needs something else and I'm not sure what, and I go through and I read all of your comments, And I love the way people are, well, maybe try this or maybe try that. There's never a negative thing in it. Everybody's, and you know, here, that's just proves the point again. When you ask that question and you have 25 people comment and you get 15 different suggestions of what to do, what does that tell you? That this art could go 100 different ways.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's going to appeal differently to everybody, you know, based on their likes. So,
and I
yeah,
agree. It's hard to leave a bad comment. It is, but we don't leave a bad comment because nothing is bad. Nothing.
Yeah, and if you don't feel like you can say something positive, it's the old, you know, if you can't say something positive, don't say something at all. Just bypass it. If you don't feel you can say something positive. And if somebody asks for a critique, give an honest critique, but do it gently with love. Offer some suggestion. Don't just say something negative.
Don't be hateful.
No, and
like
we don't
said,
we don't
a lot of times
allow
it's just
that
not
in the
my
group.
cup of tea.
Right. We don't allow that in the group. And you know what? We don't have that kind of people in the group. That kind of people, that kind of person does not stick around in our group because they don't fit in, because we don't have that here. And that's what I love about this group. Glennis says, I love the feeling I get when someone buys a journal. Each one sold is a huge pat on the back. I totally agree, Glennis, because somebody's saying, I like your art enough to pay for it. And every time that happens, it helps to override those things we got as a child of you're lying or your art's no good or, you know, that's ugly or you're not talented or whatever it is. Julie, I know I'm good at drawing puffy hearts. Amazing. I don't know how to draw a puffy heart.
So drawing many other things.
That's something I can learn from Julie. See, and we all can just learn something and grow together and help each other. But yeah, and Julie's good at much more than that for sure, Margie, for sure. Let's see, pointillism. Yeah, I drew my hand like that with the dots once. Oh, Julie drew her hand with the dots once, pointillism. I'm scrolling, trying to catch up here. Laura says, I have aphantasia, which means I don't produce clear mental images. I think people who dead draw must be able to picture really well. That's a really good point. Our brains don't all work the same, so we're not all going to produce the same kind of art, for sure. Gigi says, my heart aches for you all. Had amazing art teachers, never put down for my art ever. Gigi, that's a rare occurrence, and that's amazing, and yay. And we are not mad at you at all. We are so happy that that's one thing you do not have to struggle with. That's awesome. Julie says, Marianne, it's not too late to take it back up again. Julie, that's part of my releasing creativity. I'm going to do what Debbie did on Saturday night. I'm going to step outside my comfort zone. I'm going to do things that I've never done before. I'm going to do things that are a little bit scary. I'm going to do things that take courage. And I want to do that with you because I don't want it. It's not like I know everything and you're, going to learn something here. We're going to learn together because something that takes courage for me probably doesn't take any courage at all for you. And something that I find comes easily and natural might take courage for you. And that's why we're together.
And ladies, please share your artwork. I cannot tell you how much that will help you. I didn't share my stuff for a long time, and then I entered a contest, and one of the designers after the contest contacted me and wanted me to be on her design team.
Wow.
And I only joined the contest just to do it, not for any.
Right.
And it was for digital scrapbooking, so it was just so it's not like I was drawing anything, but it was, and so she had me on her creative team for over a year. That meant so much to me, and
that
helped me get over. It helped me get over my fear of showing things.
Perfect example. Yeah. Lois, that's why I don't share what I make. So Lois, that's exactly why we created this group. This group is for artists of all kinds, whether it's cooking, crocheting, knitting, drawing, painting, scrapbooking, junk journaling. It doesn't matter because I can look at an Afghan that somebody crocheted and get an idea for a junk journal page or a scrapbooking page, if that's what you do, or a card makers. We can look at a card that somebody made and get an idea for something. And we can appreciate, as we talked about, everybody's artistry, even if that's not something that we do, if it's not in our wheelhouse. And that's why we created this group. And Lois, let me say that that's why this group is private. Everybody that's in this group right now is absolutely supportive of everybody's artistry, no matter what it is. And as I said, anybody who isn't doesn't make it into the group or doesn't last in the group because they don't fit in. They end up leaving themselves very quickly. So, Lois, I would ask you, please share your artwork, any of the things that you make in this group. And as Candy said, it really does help because as you get the comments from people,
you get more confident.
You know the criticisms you've given your own artwork. And when people say, I really love this element about it, I love the red blah, 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 and you're thinking, oh, I was not sure I even liked that. And people are saying, I love that, because they didn't know what the vision was in your head. All they know is what they see, which they love. It really does help you to get through and get over and expand your creativity a lot. We would love to. The other thing is, seeing other people's artwork is very inspiring. It really is. How many times have you looked at something and go, oh, I want to go try that now? It's very inspiring. So please do share.
And even if it's a different type of art, sometimes it leads you down a different path in your own art to try to incorporate it a little bit. Not maybe you can't do the whole thing, but you can do like a piece of it. It gives you.
I wouldn't have offered up my book Saturday night if Candy hadn't asked. I wouldn't have.
Yes, Debbie wouldn't have. And I love that when she first made it, I asked her to put pictures in the group, and she did put pictures in the group, but it's not
pictures
quite
didn't do it
the
justice.
same. Nope, it's not quite the same as seeing it in real life. And
see, ladies, I knew she wouldn't say no on the camera.
So Laura says, I'll talk about what I like, but Mom's usually the only one I critique for improvements because I know she counts on me being honest. Yes. It can be hard because our styles are different, and not the way I would do it is not a real problem. And that's, to look at something and say, that's not the way I would do it, but I get it and I appreciate it. That's important. And it is important even to, have a friendship with someone that you feel that you can get honest critique from. And if you ask for honest critique, but in the group, you're going to get it, but it's going to be kind and gentle, because honest critique does not mean be mean and hateful about anything. Honest critique means, hey, this is all great, but this element seems out of proportion. What if you add something to it or move it over here or something like that? That's honest critique. Honest critique is honest because it cares. And when someone cares, they are kind. When critique is mean or angry or hurtful, it is not honest. This is the truth. It is not honest, and it is not doing it. They're not doing it because they care. They're doing it because they're angry, that they don't feel good about themselves and their own work, and they just want to lash out and hurt somebody. Because if you honestly want to help somebody, you care. And when you care, you don't want to hurt. So
I want to go back and help Van Gogh.
So it's safe to say you're not going to come to the Van Gogh exhibit?
Yeah, no. Listen, ladies, if they can be famous for some of that art that they did back then, that's, to me, is terrible, yours can't be any worse. Okay?
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. And what about that big paint that was a banana or something that got so much money, and you're like, it's a banana, people. It's a banana.
Right.
You're like, a tiny one at that.
I don't think there's anybody in our group that is hateful. And you know what? If people can't think of some way to help improve it, when you're asking for those ideas, they don't comment because they can't think of any way more than you have.
I couldn't comment on Van Gogh painting. I'd have any idea what. I'm like, what?
Yeah, here's something else that I've noticed. When somebody asks for feedback or critique or honest help in what else do I need to complete this, I read all those comments. I always do.
Yes.
And here's something else I noticed, that a great majority of those comments will often say, I don't know because I love it exactly as it is.
Yeah, Margie, yeah, the big red circle on the white canvas. Yes, yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Or where they just throw the paint, on there. And granted, I think it looks great.
Some honest critique, and share some ideas. But yeah, when people are saying
to the right,
when people are sincerely saying, I don't know how to tell you to help that or change it because I really like it exactly as it is.
Yeah,
that's an honest feedback as well, and you need to take that in consideration and keep that in mind. Okay, so when I put this in the group this morning, I put to bring a piece of paper. Did y'all bring a piece of paper and a fine point pen? Let's see if this one even writes. A fine point pen or marker, a Sharpie, fine point Sharpie, or a fine point pencil, something that's fairly fine point. Did everybody bring one? That's all you needed today. Put a bird on that canvas. Paper? Who has paper? I know. This is just copy paper out of my copy machine, sheet paper. What I want to do in the time we have remaining, we've talked a lot about what we're going to be doing and the purpose of our Monday Jumpstart. And I love doing something that makes me feel creative on Monday because it's a great start to the week. I love meeting with you guys on Monday that makes me feel good and energizes me because, sometimes the weekends are great and then you have to go back to work or hubby goes back to work or whatever it is. And people tend to dread Mondays. And I don't. I love Mondays. And I want to use that as a jump start for everybody. And every single day can be a jump start. But anyway, we're going to do something every Monday that's going to be a jump start. So what I want to do is just walk through a very simple exercise. And I want you just to do it with me. While we're doing this, the whole point is that we're just doing something. It's an exercise in creativity. While we're doing it, I want you to go ahead and type into chat anything that you have in your stock that you have not yet used, that we need to use, that we want, because I'm going to make a list. I'm writing it all down. I got Julie's fuse tool. I got the cinch or the Zutter, whatever somebody else might have. I got the crayons from Debbie. And so I want to make a list of that. So rice paper. So I want you to type those in chat while we're doing this. And here's something that I want you to remember. One of the best ways to spark creativity is to try something new. When you try something new, you take your brain out of its pathway that it says this is how it goes. If it's new, there is no pathway for it already. And trying something new sparks your creativity. I want you to remember that for Mondays. And so no comment about what we're going to do right here. Some of you will recognize or have some thoughts about it. No comment about what we're going to do until we're done. But the comments that I would like to see would be all the things that you haven't used that you need to use. While we're doing this, I'm going to write them down. I see them starting to come in. Okay, so I'm going to use a Sharpie for the first part just so I can make sure that you can see mine. Okay, make sure my light is good over here. Not so good. There we go. Okay. All right. So take your pen, your pencil, you can use a Sharpie for the first part if you want something thicker, but for the next part, you'll want something nice and thin. Okay. And you kind of have to do this at the same time. So Candy, Debbie, ready to go?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're going to put your marker on the very top. Now I'm going to give this to you piece by piece, but don't lift your pen up or your pencil up off the paper because it's going to be a continuous thing. So the first thing that you're going to do is draw a great big S and then keep your finger on the paper. So draw your big S. And then you're going to come back up here and cross the point just so the point isn't hanging out there alone. I didn't really touch it there, but it doesn't matter. I'll come back and get it. And then you're going to go left and right and left and right and left. So it's kind of like a backward Z or a big S, just a bunch of, left and rights. And they're not all going to be exactly the same. Doesn't matter. Okay. And then we're going to come around here and go straight up left, right down the middle, and just bring it back to any point so it touches, so we don't have any end hanging out. It's all one continuous. Yeah, perfect. Both of you. Perfect. Okay. Does everybody have this? Okay, and I will go back and write down some of these things while we're doing this. All right, ready to go? Who has this? Is everybody doing it? I know Debbie and Candy are. Is everybody else doing it with us? Okay, Julie's doing it with us. Margie, you have a piece of paper? Gigi, are you doing it? Dawn? Laura? Glynis? Lois? Yes? Okay, good. And if yours doesn't look exactly like this, look at Debbie's, look at Candy's. Theirs doesn't look exactly like mine, even though we all took the same motions, and that's okay. Lined paper is fine. Debbie's is on lined paper. Candy's is on it might even be art paper. Mine is on copy paper.
And you see how perfect Debbie's is?
Yeah, so perfect. Mine was on a digital download, and it was sitting right here, so I just grabbed it.
Yeah, perfect. So doesn't matter. Yeah. Okay, Toby's with us. Margie's with us. Okay.
Hey,
Dawn,
Toby.
Kathy. Awesome. Laura's watching. Okay, you got to go back and try this, though. It's not the same when you go back and do it as it is when you do it here, because you'll already have the whole thing in mind. Okay, so now take your marker, and I want you to pick any what you've done. What you've done here is create a whole bunch of sections, right? There's a whole bunch of shapes, a whole bunch of sections that are different sizes and different shapes, right? Pick any shape that you want, any one of these, but a fairly large one, and start on one side. This pen, I'm going to use it's not going to turn out so neat, but that's okay. I want you to be able to see it. I'm going to use the Sharpie. I'm going to start on one side of that shape and draw straight lines across, and just far enough apart that you can then come the other direction and make squares. Doesn't really matter how big they are. Doesn't matter what shape you choose. Just start on one side and go, and it's going to end up, skinny down on one side. And then you're going to go back to each one of these squares and make a dot in the center of the square, like this. Okay, while you're doing that, I'm going to write down some of these things that are coming up so I don't lose them in chat. So this is a huge list, and I want it all. I'll say some of these out loud so that you can hear them all if you haven't read them all. Heat gun and embossing powder, rice paper, which Debbie said, and I didn't write down. Punch boards, more rice paper.
Punch boards, is that like the...
That's like all the ones that make envelopes or boxes or
okay.
Any of those, yeah. Nuvo paste.
I would like to be more
rice paper, glitter paste. Okay. Punch board is a good one too. Glitter paste. Crackle paste.
I did a really, really, really long time ago, but those two boxes of the silver and the gold rub-on stuff.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to learn how to use that.
Okay, punch boards. Oh, yeses. It's online paper. It's fine. On the couch, no paper. The get back punch board, so all the punch boards, rice paper. Okay, there was a lot of repeat there, so I don't have
The crayon.
Don't crayon. I got crayons and the cinch or zutter and the fuse tool. There's not a huge list here, guys, because there was a lot of repeat. Are you sure that that's all I have? Do you have any? Have you all used your alcohol ink? Have you all used sprays? Have you all?
But here's the thing. Different ways to use them. Sometimes we're stuck in a rut using them only one way.
Okay, so add those things to the list. I've used this, but I only know how to use it this way, so I'd like more ways to use it. Add those things to the list. Glass beads, texture gel, okay?
Yeah, making dangles. I have the stuff to do it, but I haven't.
Okay.
How do you put that in there? It's not really one thing.
Just put dangles. Yep,
okay.
Just put dangles. Beads to make dangle, okay?
Yeah, making ephemera.
Dangles in there, okay. Dangles, ephemera. So we're going to try something new that we have that somebody won't have done at each of these Mondays. And then we're going to have spots during the week where we're going to do a live and we're just going to mass make something. So like the paper clips that I got excited about. We're going to go paper clips 3 ways. We're going to mass make them. And so Saturday night, we, some of us made a journal or book that is going to be our idea book, inspiration book, resource book, which means that every time you make something, you make 2 at least. You put 1 in your book and 1 you use. And
here's my book.
Oh yeah, which turned out great, by the way. And I saw you just did the spine thing, which looks very cool.
Yeah, I just did that while we were talking.
Yeah. By the end of the year, we'll have this fantastic book full of stuff.
I'm so excited.
This is and then every time we make something, she can go put it in that book, and you'll end up with an entire journal filled with all kinds of elements and ephemera. And when you can't think of something to do, need a new idea, you flip through that book and you get all kinds of ideas. Okay, ready for another one? Let's do another one. Okay, now you're going to pick another section. Now, I've got this section right here that goes all the way down here. That's a long section. So I could leave it that way, or I can say I'm going to take this line right here and I'm going to extend it over there, and I'm just going to turn that into 2 sections because that's kind of a big section, right? It's up to you. Totally.
You used to do these and color them in different colors when you were kids. Remember, ladies?
Yeah.
I know you did it. I know you did it.
Yep. Okay. So this one, you're going to, let's see, where's a good one? I'm going to use this one right here. I'm going to, can you see my pen? I'm trying to make it so you see my pen. My hand doesn't cover it. I'm going to draw a circle, but I'm not going to close the circle. I'm going to turn it into a spiral, and not a super tight spiral. It's a loose spiral, a very loose spiral. And I'm going to do all those all over, and I'm going to make them go both directions. So they're not all going the same way. They're not all in a perfect line. Just do them
now
wherever.
You just messed me up. Switching direction? What the?
Switch direction and switch size.
What? That's what Eric says. What the what?
Yeah. Here's what I want you to do. Don't do a perfect line of them and do another line of them. Not this time. You can, and I love that as well. But this time for this project, I want you just to go wherever and do another one and do them both directions. And then you're going to end up with these. Now we're really throwing
Now you're outside my comfort zone.
Exactly. That's the point. Then you're going to end up with these little spaces here where you have to put tiny ones in. So put little ones in. That way they're not all the same size, because I tend to start drawing spirals and they're all the same size because that's just what my hand is doing. So go to these little spaces and draw little ones.
Size. I can't even get the same look.
Nope.
Perfect. You don't want the same look. That's the point. Is you don't want the same look. Yeah.
I'm perfectly imperfect, ladies. That's me.
That's exactly it. You know what? Perfect is boring. If everyone is exactly the same, I don't need to look at them all. In something like this, if everyone is exactly the same, I don't need to look at them all because they're all exactly the same. If everyone is slightly different, my brain wants to look at every single one of them. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying there's a place for everything, and what we
Hey, this looks like a Van Gogh painting.
See, all we're doing is training our brain to release the creativity and not be stuck in one way of doing it because that's the way we've always done it. Some of them kind of look like sixes. I have to use my fine point to get in some of the small spaces. Some of mine aren't even really round. They end up being kind of oval to fill the space. But that's okay too. Okay, I'm going to go back to chat and see if I've got any other. Done the alcohol ink once with Mom, but don't see it being a regular thing for me. Okay, so Laura, that's how a lot of us felt with alcohol ink, especially at the beginning, because it seemed really difficult to use and to work with. And the more I do it, the more I see how it can be very easy and how I can use it in different ways. It doesn't have to be as difficult as I thought it was. And part of it is just because the more you use it, the easier it becomes, because now you know what to do with it and you know what to expect. So I'm going to put alcohol ink because I think that's a biggie for everybody. You guys have bought a lot of alcohol ink with me, and I don't want it to sit there. I want you to use it. I've got a ton more too for when you go, I love it and I want more colors.
Yeah, Dawn said earlier, how are we going to use lives when you keep selling us more?
Well, like Debbie said, we're going to use our paper so we have room to buy more. Paper clips. Lois has lots of paper clips. Paper clips of all sizes. That'll be something we'll mass make. Yeah, Margie thought she was buying, 300 paper clips from Amazon, and she got 3,000.
Margie, that's just funny. I died laughing when you put that in there.
I thought it was funny.
I know. That is so funny. And Julie, it's okay if the squares aren't all the same. Mine aren't all the same size either.
That's why I'm not a good Zentangler.
Yeah, I don't do well at this either.
Don't say that word. And Dawn says, I'm liking this. Mine are all wonky. Margie.
But she say I can't read comments from over here.
And here's the thing. We a lot of you have told me I don't do Zentangle. No, I don't do Zentangle. Well, that's okay. You don't have to do Zentangle. Just do a creative exercise with me.
I've tried. I like it, but mine's never as neat as everybody else's.
But that's what
relaxing.
You think.
It is relaxing.
We'd probably put them all side by side, and we'd all really love yours. We're very critical of our own because we think they're not all the same size. They're not all the same direction. They're not all perfect. They're going all wonky. And somebody else is going to look at it and go, I love that because it's all wonky. And it makes me feel okay because it's all wonky and it's beautiful. I know I'm wonky, and that makes me feel good. We just have to learn to look at our own things through the same eyes that we look at everybody else's. What we're doing right now is one of the hardest ones in the world for me because I cannot do two swirls the same. And they are totally wonky and just, I don't know, they're just weird.
Can I say Debbie's putting us to shame, Marianne?
Putting a what?
This is when the first what's came out was something I was interested in. It wasn't anything. I didn't get it. I didn't understand it. I didn't. The lines aren't straight.
Right. Exactly.
But it looks really neat and really cool.
Okay, so this is an exercise that can help you get your brain to go beyond straight lines. You are not going to lose that straight line love by adding something else to it. But this is an exercise that will get your brain to expand to being okay with not straight lines and see the beauty in that. Okay. I look at you guys and I think, oh, that's really cool. I look at mine and I think it's just a big black mess.
That's because you're using a marker.
I'm a wonky donkey, Margie says.
Yeah.
That's me, Margie.
Julie, I agree with you. I think I should draw bigger because it's
yes, I agree. And that's why I said go through and make some, they're fairly large, and then you're going to go back and fill in the little tiny ones where you have those spaces. And but by starting here and just doing straight lines, you're going to have these little tiny lines, and that gets boring to do, and it gets hard to do. Okay, ready for another one?
Yeah, because I hate squiggles.
You hate squiggles. Okay.
I hate squiggles.
So, here's what. Pick another one. Okay, pick one where you can start at a point, like this point right here, and we're gonna do this. All it is, it's kind of like a quarter circle, and then you're gonna go from the middle of that and do another quarter circle that way and a quarter circle that way. It's kind of like a seagull. And then you're going to go from the middle of each of those and do a quarter circle that way to a quarter circle you're going from middle to middle. You're going from middle of a quarter circle to the edge, middle to middle, middle to middle, middle to edge. That's all you're doing. They don't all have to be the same distance apart. They're not going to be. They're going to be whatever my hand draws at that moment. Some are kind of the same. Some have bigger humps than others. It doesn't matter. When I do them, I can see how off they are and how imperfect they are and how not the same they are. But when you get all done, you see a really cool mermaid tail of scales. Well, I'm going to add some things to this list that maybe you didn't think of. And if you think of things during the week, if you see something in your room, just shoot me a message for sure. But we got enough things to get started with. And yeah, every row of mine is a different size. And that's okay. That's the beauty of this. And yes, I did trick you into doing a Zentangle. Those of you who said you don't Zentangle. But what I wanted you to know is you don't have to call it Zentangle. You don't have to think Zentangle. All you have to think is, I'm going to draw some shapes and get my brain to release creativity. Sometimes you really want to do something and you don't know what to do. You just don't feel very creative. This is a great thing to do. Yeah, draw bigger, Julie. Yeah, they do look like cool scales. And mine are so, this last row is so off and smaller now. And they're so small, I'm going to skip one and go from center of one to the center of two over to make them a little bit bigger because I really got small there. And how big you start with will help with that. And then I'm going to say, so like there's times that you just really want to do something, but you don't feel very creative and you're not sure you want to make a card or make a book or whatever. Okay. I've always, my whole life, I've always wanted to doodle. I don't know how to doodle. I don't think I doodle very well. I watch people sit down and doodle, and they doodle these cute, cool little things. Yeah, I don't know how to doodle. Now, isn't the exact definition of doodling just playing on paper? Literally, it doesn't matter what you come up with or what you write or what you draw, it's doodling. So doodling shouldn't be defined. Doodling is just doodling. Yet I can't doodle because my brain thinks doodling should be something, and I end up not with that. And so I don't know how to doodle. So I'm hung up on doodling. So by doing this, not calling it Zentangle, not calling it doodling, what I'm doing is doodling. What I'm doing is Zentangling, if you want to give a name to it. But really what I'm doing is teaching my brain to release its creativity. And you can do like Candy's doing. You can go back, and I think Debbie did that too. You can go around the outside if they're doing it in pencil. So just make a darker line around the outside of each one. That makes each one like it's in a little frame. You can also, when you get completely done with this, go back with colored pencils and color each one in a different color. And you could do this. Okay, there's the scales, and then go, they're kind of wonky. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to make every other scale or every other row of scales, or I'm going to make random scales throughout dark. I'm just going to blacken them in, just random ones. There's one. There's one. There's one. They don't have to be anywhere. Again, it's training your brain not to have to see things in a row, in a line, or in a particular way. Just make random ones colored solid. Once you've got a few of those, now it's a completely different Zentangle, but it's just creativity. Margie can't doodle either. All I ever did was draw flowers around holes in school paper. I didn't even do that. Oh, I learned how to draw a mouse the other day. I was so darn excited that I learned how to, I'll show you if I can remember. Hopefully I can remember. Ready for another one? Is everybody through? No, I don't want to do this. Oh, my brain is saying, yeah, definitely your brain is saying, I don't want to do this. And you're saying, sorry, brain, I'm in control this time. It doesn't have to be perfect. We're just doing. Okay, let's do an easy one. Pick another square. And on this one, yeah, it is hard with this thick Sharpie. It's easier with a thin tool. But pick another square, one of your larger ones, if you've got any larger ones. And this one, we're going to make a big half circle, just kind of like you did for the scales. But then you're going to come down to the bottom and make these like starbursts, sunbursts coming out of it. Yeah, this is hard with a thick marker. Make sunbursts coming out of the bottom. And that's why you need them to be big, so that you have enough room to make the sunburst coming out of the bottom. And then you're going to do just like you did on the scales, where you're going off of one to the other. But again, remember, they've got to be big.
Huh.
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 What kind of how was that?
Well, I'm kind of like, okay, do this. Do this.
And the whole thing is going to this with no expectation, no perception of what it should be. You don't have any squares. You mean you didn't do this first one?
I did.
Gigi? No, Gigi says I don't have any squares.
Oh.
Gigi, did you not do the first one? It's just draw lines one way and then draw lines the other way and then a dot in the center of each square. Super easy. You don't have to have a square. Here, I'll show you how to do it on a pointy one. Here's a pointy one out here. How about this one, this round one? You don't have to have a square to do the squares. Just start on one side and draw straight lines across. It doesn't matter what shape it is. It does have to be a square. I chose that one because it was the biggest one I had, so to start with it. In fact, I think that it ends up looking cooler if it's not a square. So look at my little banana end like there with squares on it. Don't need any squares. And like I said, if you've got a shape that's huge and you want to extend a line and cut it into two, go for it. Now, I don't want this one to be the same as that one, so we'll wait and do this the next one, and I'll show you. I have every shape but a square. You said pick another square. Oh, I said pick another square. I meant pick a shape. Pick another shape. Sorry. Not a square. You shouldn't have any squares. Pick another shape to do these big old sunburst things. You can do long rays and little rays, which are hard with a big fat Sharpie. I love that.
Sorry, it's about my uncle. So
that's okay. I love that. Okay. Yeah, hard to do with a Sharpie. I don't recommend that. I like the fine point Sharpies. I like a fine point pen. I like a sharp pencil. But the problem you can run into with a pencil is that your brain's going to say, oh, erase that and do it again, because you can. Which is usually why I don't grab a pencil, because I need to train my brain to allow it to be creative, even if it's not perfect, and let it stay there in its imperfection. And it's even more imperfect with a big fat Sharpie, and that's hurting my brain, but I'm making it do it.
okay, sorry.
That's okay.
Had to get the time, place, and flowers.
And if you don't get one section completed before we go to the next section, that's okay. When we're done, you can go back and finish the section, but don't allow yourself to spend so much time on it because you're trying to make it perfect. It should just be, if this is the first one you've ever done, it should just be kind of a mess plopped down on the paper. Yep, that's how it is, Julie. It's hurting kind of my brain.
Down on the paper?
Yeah. Yeah. It's hurting my brain. Okay. Now this one over here that I just the squares in, pick another one, even a small one, and draw squares in it again like we did this one. Just draw lines one way and then draw lines the other way. Brain said no. It is hurting my brain. And you see how getting your shape, it doesn't really matter how you put it down, but drawing an S and then just a bunch of squiggles every whatever direction, you can draw anything that you want. But people will say, well, I don't know how to draw, all the shapes for the Zentangle. Don't get hung up on that. It's really anything. Pick a letter of the alphabet and just draw it in huge, flowy, roundabout things, kind of sort of. It may not look like the letter at all, but that was your inspiration to make your figure that you start with. I'll get that bot. And we have never had more bots in 2 years than we've had this weekend. Chase the smallest one for the squares. There you go. Smallest one for the squares. Okay. Once you've got those squares, we don't want it to be the same as this one. So now you're going to draw a diagonal over it. And for this one, I will start in the middle because it's easier for me to see where the diagonal is. And then I'll just do everything on this side of it and everything on that side. But you're going to go from the point of one square to the point of the next square to the point of the next square. And then I see where I take that over to the edge. So the one next to it, the point of one square to the point of the other. And I'm going diagonally across those squares. And even my diagonals aren't straight because my squares aren't straight. So sometimes it's hard for me to tell exactly where I should be. And it doesn't even matter. If you get something down, that's all that matters. And now you've got a completely different design just by adding a diagonal line. That's a great ringtone. Now we'll make Margie's brain happy for the next one. Are you done with that one, Debbie?
Yep.
Okay. So the next one, I'm going to pick one of the larger ones. We're going to draw a dot and then five flower petals around it, and just go boop, 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 boop. You know, don't sit and make every flower petal exact. Just let your pen keep going till you get 5 flower petals. Petals are not all going to be the same. They're all wonky, and that's okay. Margie, it's the flowers that you used to do around the holes. So just draw a dot, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's hard to do with a thick one, but it works. It works. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 without stopping. And just fill it full of flowers. And just put them everywhere, not in a row. And then when you're got a bunch of those in, you'll have to go back and fill in with some smaller ones to fill up space. But this one, you won't have to fill up every single tiny little space. You can leave a little space between them. It's okay. Zentangle doesn't mean that every single bit is covered. So Margie, I promise we're not going to do Zentangle every week. But I will say thank you for trying it. Do appreciate that. Hey, KK. Good to see you. KK, when you have a chance, go back and watch the first hour, even listen to the first hour, even on fast forward, so you get a good idea of what we're going to be doing on Mondays at noon. But KK, let me ask you, since you just came in, what supplies do you have that you have not used, not tried, not had time to use, don't know what to do with, or you did once, or you only have one thing to do with them and you'd like more ideas of other things to do with them? Go ahead and put that into chat. Any products or items. Let me know when you get through the flowers. Did this in high school when I was bored. See? KK learned how to doodle in high school. Yeah, I couldn't, because my brain couldn't stick with it, because I kept telling my brain kept telling me it's not perfect. It's not perfect. Can't do that. And I would get one shape done, and this is obviously not perfect and all over the place, and I'd be done, so I'd throw it away. All kinds of ideas. It's finding the time. Awesome. What I'm doing is making a list of any tools, products, those things that you have, because everybody seems to have got some things that they've never used, haven't had time, don't know what to do with. Some things you know what to do with, just haven't had time, or just haven't bothered yet, or maybe you know one thing to do with it, that's what you always use it for. Now you're thinking you'd like some new ideas of new things to do with them. If you've got lots of ideas, we need you to be here on Mondays to share those ideas. Every Monday, we're going to use something that is sitting in our room that we're not using enough. Great flowers, Debbie.
Thank you.
They are. This kind of doodling doesn't work well for me because it's a kind of finish line. When I doodle stuff, I can stop at any time without it feeling incomplete. Yeah. And see, you obviously know how to doodle, Laura. I have to learn how to doodle because I couldn't do it. If you doodle and you just doodle and you can stop at any time, it's complete wherever you stop. That's totally fine. And whoever says that this has to be all complete, why can't there be white sections? Or why can't there be solid sections? But yeah, wonky flowers. Okay. Pick another shape. And this one, you're just going to go inside the shape and outline it in the exact same shape that the shape is. and then go inside that one and outline it the same shape the shape is. And my shape always seems to change shape by the time I get farther in. That's a quick and easy one. Some of you are great artists in the sense of drawing or sketching or things like that and want to turn it into a piece of art, and that's okay. Because just by doing it, well, yeah, just by doing it, it starts releasing the creativity. Get your mind going. Everybody got that one? Okay, here's another one. Pick another shape. I'll use this end one. And draw straight lines, kind of like when we did the square, but only one direction. Straight lines across with space. And then it doesn't matter where you start, but you're going to go, say I'll start on the longest one. That seems to be the easiest. Start on the longest one, and at some point between the longest one and the outline of the shape, just color in a little box. And then I'm going to go down a little farther, and I'm going to color in another little box, and I'm going to do another one at the bottom. And then go to the next one over and do several boxes on that one, wherever, just randomly. Random place, random size. They can be touching each other, they cannot. Doesn't make any difference. They can be partial because they're right on the edge. And all you're doing is making boxes. Huh, that kind of looks like a woven basket.
Yours does.
I was just thinking it looks like a wonky woven basket because none of them are symmetrical. But when I turn it that way, because it's because of the shape of the design that I did it in. Zentangle. Yep, KK, it is Zentangle. But I didn't say it was Zentangle at the beginning because half of you will say, oh, I don't do Zentangle. And I want to trick our brains into releasing our creativity, because when I think of it, I don't do Zentangle either because I can't do it right. I can't do it right. I can't do it straight. So I decided, you know what? I'm just going to tell my brain I'm just going to doodle these things one section at a time. And I'm not Zentangling. Okay, ready for the next one? Another super easy one. You're gonna make lines, and the lines can go in any direction. So you can decide. I think maybe I'll go from the point to the middle of this one and do lines that direction. And what you're gonna do is do a fat line, and then a skinny line, and then a fat line, Okay, a thick line and then a thin line. Whatever you want to call it. A thick line and then a thin line, or a fat line and a skinny line. I mean, this seriously can just be so easy like this, and that's enough to get your brain thinking outside its box. Mine all are turning out way too thick because of the Sharpie, the fat Sharpie. But that's all it is a thick line, then a thin line, thick line, then a thin line. I had a lot of little sections left. Do you guys have a lot of sections left? Or how many? Sections, some of them are a little tiny. I'm just put them with the one next to them and use it in one bigger section.
I think I have about 4 left.
Okay.
16 left.
Okay, gel plate, watercolors. Oh, that's a good thing. Watercolors. How many of you have watercolors that you don't use? What about pastels?
Oh, yeah, watercolors.
Oxide
pastels.
sprays. Uh-huh. I like the white spaces too, Glynis. I like leaving some here and there. Even coloring like this tiny one right here, coloring that one in black, and then leaving the two next to it white. Ready for the next one? The next one, I like a nice curved one if possible. I only have this one really here, and it's kind of small, but it'll work. It'll work. Just looking to see if there's a better one. I could create another one over here. I'll come over and do that sometimes. Go, I want a bigger one, so I'll create one right here just by connecting those. It's hard to work in this little tiny one because of my big fat pen, but I'm going to do this. Okay, so I'm going to go from the corner, and I'm just going to do a line inside the other one, but I met in the corners, so it's not equidistant from here to there. And I'm going to do the same below it, the same below it. 1, 2, 3, 4. So now I've got 4 spaces between lines. 1, 2, 3, 4. So now we're only going to draw in every other space. Because my space is small, I'm going to start with the biggest space because I want to use that biggest space. And you're going to draw ovals like eggs. So I'm going to put like eggs right here, right next to each other. And I'm just going to fill the whole section with little oval eggs that my big fat Sharpie is making solid dots towards the end, but that's okay. I'm just putting them right next to each other so they touch. And then I'm going to skip the next section, and that will stay white, stay clear. And then I'll do the one below it. You see why this is fun on a large section, a large space, where you get some good curved lines. Wow, it kind of looks like a shark mouth from underneath. Never saw that before. Chalk pastels. Use them with your polymer clay. And maybe some other ideas. Okay, I'm going to write down chalk pastels. How many people have oil pastels? Anybody? Or water pastels? There was something else. Gel plate, watercolors. Watercolors is probably a good one.
I want to make envelopes. Like
okay.
envelopes
Mask
for
make.
a camera. Yeah,
okay. Mask make.
Like a camera envelopes,
Yeah.
not an envelope to stick a card in, but
so let's do that now. Go ahead and put in you gave me some of the things. I've made a list of the things that you have, the like products. Now put in things like Debbie just said that she would like to mass make, because we're going to be doing that throughout the week. Artist pigmented ink. Let me write that down, Julie.
Tags.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So things we'd like to mass make: tags, envelopes, paper clips, dangles, matchbooks.
Oh, that'd be fun. Matchbooks.
Notebook. You can do matchbook notebooks or just little notepads.
Okay. Matchbooks / notepads.
Folios. Little folios, just little ones.
Mini folios. Okay.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that we can mass make.
Those
slides.
Oh, specimen cards, yes.
Specimen cards, slides, okay.
Those not postcards. What was I talking about this morning? Index cards.
Index cards. Okay. Yep. Slides. Okay. Index cards, postcards. I'll put /. Okay.
Clusters.
Okay.
Yeah, clusters. I don't know how to do that.
Okay. I've got, let's see what everybody else has put in.
Gift cards, dangle.
Color burst. Yes, like the shimmer powder from Nuvo, or what's the other one? No, there's 4 or 5 make it. They all call it something different. Yeah. Okay.
Postage
cards,
stamps.
Paper clips, hidden paper clips. Okay.
Postage stamps like Glennis makes.
Oh yeah, faux stamps. Okay.
Yeah, faux stamps.
Yep. I love doing those. I always do those in mass.
And you can bring Glennis online to help you with those.
Yeah. Yes. Sure. Glennis can be our teacher.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I haven't sewn on paper either. I'd like to do that.
Okay. ATCs. That's sewing on paper.
Yes.
12 by 12 one-page wonders. Oh yeah, I've seen those from.
Yep.
Who did that series? I can't remember. ATCs.
Okay.
ATCs / Rolodex cards. I think you should do them together.
You know who's really good at ATCs is Rebecca.
I think we could mass make ATCs and we could mass make Rolodex cards in different.
Well, I'm just saying, for me, I don't like the ATCs because it's hard for me to. But the Rolodex, I do them like an ATC and put them in a Rolodex.
Okay.
Kind of.
I'll put /. Oh no, I get it. Okay. Nuance powder, meanders. Yep. Meanders and one. There's a lot of different ways to do one-page wonders, and meander is kind of a one-page wonder. Tina, when I saw yours posted, I haven't made a meander in forever, in years. And I sat here that night and quick to put a meander book together. A teeny tiny one. It's like 3 inches by 3 inches.
Oh.
Yeah. All in one page. It's folded. It's folded down the rows. A one page, all in one piece. Yeah. Snippet rolls. Snippet rolls, and we can do those with paper and with fabric.
Yeah, more with fabric. I have a ton of fabric now. I need to use it.
Okay. I do snippet rolls on fabric strips and snippet rolls on what's the name of the machine, like the 10 key machine?
The what machine?
Those rolls of paper. What are they called?
Tabs, the receipt tape.
Yes, the receipt tape.
Receipt roll.
Yeah. Yep. Diamond dust, sewing on paper, but it's also funny shelby lubby because I don't want a chance wrecking my good machine. You know, and your good machine won't get hurt sewing through paper. I personally don't sew through cardstock. I mean, chipboard. No, I'm not going to sew through chipboards. I don't have an industrial machine, but a standard machine will sew through paper just fine. Dust bunny killers. What? What are dust bunny killers? Is that something new? I don't know that word. Coarse pumice gel. Whoa, I'm not familiar with that. I'm going to write that down. See, we can do these things and I can give you some ideas and guaranteed you're going to give me some ideas too. Meander's what mom sent her as a Christmas card. Yep, that's exactly it. She put it on, she posted it in the group and I went, oh, wow, that's so cute. And I haven't done a meander in many years. So I sat down and made a meander book.
Margaret, chipboard ideas.
Let's see here. Project board. Can't think of what it is called. Project board, a vision board, a project board. Tell me, Lois, there's a lot of different ways to look at that. What is, how do you use it? And they'll know what you're talking about for sure. Chipboard like ideas. I've literally tons of chipboard and what to do with it. Okay. Okay.
Books with chipboard.
We can take chipboard and literally mass make very quickly book covers of all sizes, from 2 inches, 1 inch, and 2 inches up to standard size. Uses for embossing folders. Yes, Debbie and I were just talking about a cool use for embossing folders. So that's one of the items that, yeah, okay, I use those now and then. Don't use them enough. Give me some new ideas for embossing folders. Love that.
We just talked about that last night.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I can't remember. My days have run together now.
So I've got 2 lists going here. One of the things to mass make, and one is the things that we want to use and learn how to use more of. Vision board. Let's see here. Call Mary Maids, Tina. Yeah. Just bought a new flower crocheted book. Ooh. Gigi is on my side. I'll only make one in another group. Not sure what it was for. I'm going to just hang it. Okay, Lois. So you have it to hang. What's on it? Or what are you going to put on it? Tell me that. Because you could do a vision board, or sometimes people will put a board up and then every time they make something, they put one up on there, which gives you the ideas of things to use. Then it's like an inspiration board or an idea board. But that's why we did the books, because we're going to get way too many things to put on a board. So you need a book, a journal of some sort. You could even use a regular book and make an altered book. Tear some pages out, make it an altered book, glue some pages together so that you can, every time you make something, make at least 2. You put 1 in there, you use 1. We're going to sit down and mass make things. You'll put 1 in your idea book, your inspiration book. The rest go in a baggie or a box, however you choose to store them. So then you can just grab them as you need. You can make a journal. You can line up all your bags or boxes and grab one out of every box, and you've got a journal already ready to go. Mass make faux paper, colored core papers. Colored core papers are white core paper.
What is faux paper?
Oh, mass make faux paper. Gigi, are you talking about faux paper or mass making like altered paper that you take just plain white paper and make it something so that it's pretty to use? We could do that, like the ones that I used Saturday night in my book. I mass did those with sprays and they turned out amazing. And I've got a ton of them. Hang on, I got to write these things down. Let's see.
So I have a question. What's the big deal about a spray box? Can't you just use like an Amazon box?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. I use a lid to an HP paper box that, that came full of paper rings. I just turn it upside down, stick it under my desk is where I store it, and pull it out. I always put paper on the bottom of it because the overspray gets caught on that, and that turns out to be cool paper with all the oversprays. But that's all I use.
The flat box, it is good if you have limited space because you can flatten it when you're done.
That's true. Let me grab this.
And you don't have to retape it every time like you would a regular box.
Okay, I also keep, I'm going to go single for a second here. I also keep this just stuck down by the wall of my desk. This is just a cardboard box that I pulled off one section of it, and it's about probably 10 inches tall. And I can turn it this way and stand it this way. And this is like the point of Tim Holt's Splat Box is that if he has a card, you can stand the card up against this and you can spray it straight instead of having to spray it flat. So you spray it straight and let things run down. Also, if I'm spraying something at an angle or I know it's got a big spray and it might go outside of my box that only has a 4-inch wall, I put this up and I just keep it stuck down the wall by the side of my desk. And it just acts as a barrier wall. Okay, if there's anything else. Crochet delicate flowers. Oh, you want to learn to crochet?
I love
I got to go back here.
I don't think you're going to be able to do that one.
Collage paper and images. Okay, I'm writing as fast as I can.
Tina, I do have a lot of Tim Holtz stuff. He used to come to Seattle, and I would take classes with him or help him with classes when he taught at Doris's store. So I do have a lot of his products, but I never got the Splat Box because I love Amazon. So why not use my Amazon boxes?
Making use of the things we have and saving that money to buy something else that we don't have something that'll work.
Oh boy, more paper.
Exactly.
More paper clips.
And paper clips. I did buy more paper clips today.
Collage boards. Oh, okay, Lois, I think I know what you're talking about.
Vellum. That's good. Lois, vellum.
Okay. Let me go back here.
You know what I would like to know how to do is how to vellum down so you don't see underneath what's holding it down.
Okay.
Barely art glue.
Yep.
Barely art glue.
Okay, Debbie, can you start writing right after vellum? Lois says mulberry paper. I need to mute for just a minute. Can you start writing at mulberry papers and just read out the list and hang on to that for me?
Sure.
If you put the barely art on there and then make sure it gets evened out, squished out, you don't really see it. I don't really see it. I was like, yay.
Can I Amazon that one?
Barely art glue. They've been having trouble. They have a website of their own too now.
Oh, okay.
They have free shipping, and I believe they had free shipping when I ordered it from there. I don't know if they still do, but they did.
Oh, a plastic sweater box for a spray box. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's good too. And then you can use what's left on the bottom with that paper like Marianne was doing. Mop it up with paper.
Oh, Brad's. That's good. Brad's with the vellum. To hold the vellum down.
Yeah.
Or cute staple. Yes, barely art is awesome. Okay, barely art.
Or you could sew it.
Yeah. Is that noise Marianne's computer? Can you hear that?
I don't know. Let me mute it. It might be me. I don't know. Oop. Just knocked something off. Imagine that. Okay, I'm going to mute it, see if it still happens. It was probably me. I think Marianne's muted. What are you hearing?
Yours. Do you want me to mute? Do you hear it at all?
No, I don't. That's what I'm saying. It's probably me if I'm not hearing it.
Okay.
What's it sound like?
Static.
Let me move it. Now this mic might be going bad. I'm telling you, it just quit working during the live. I don't know what happened. Still there?
Not as bad.
Let me take down the settings a little bit.
Hissing noise, yes. Margie says a hissing noise, so she hears it too.
I'm having a hissy fit, people.
A hissing fit.
Oh, if they're gonna have to get a new mic.
Uh-oh. Okay.
Okay, how far did you get?
Mulberry paper, shrinky dink sheets, brads. Use brads on the vellum. Just a second. Who said it? Somebody said that they use their plastic sweater box for a Just a second. Just a sec. I'm going back here. Somebody said they use a plastic sweater box for their spray box.
KK, a plastic sweater box for her spray box. Oh,
okay.
That's a good idea.
That's and then Lois said, how about using the paper towels that we use when we clean up our inks?
Yes, I do that.
I don't.
Yeah, paper towels and baby wipes. Because then when you tear them apart, they make very cool fiber as well as being all colored. Yeah, brads on vellum. That's a good idea, Lois.
What about the use for the 1,000 napkins we all have?
Oh, yes, especially napkins, beeswax. Okay, does anybody have bees in their room that they have not yet used?
Yeah, I have some. I didn't like how it came out. I didn't use it.
It's another thing that, okay.
Laura, what are you having? She's going to go scavenge some
sewing paper and tissue paper, okay.
Oh, you know, pattern, like sewing pattern paper.
Yep, pattern paper and tissue paper, okay. Okay.
Freezer paper.
Freezer paper. Huh.
Yum, that sounds good.
Okay. Paper towels. Yeah, okay. See how she's part cat. I don't have your avocado dye paper. Tried and it comes out brown, not pink. Interesting.
Dryer
sheets. Iron some napkins onto freezer paper. That works. Need to head off and scavenge some food. Yeah. We're just about done here anyway. Have a great Monday, Laura. Thanks for hanging out with us. Okay, just so you know, Laura, next Monday, I'm in surgery to have my rotator cuff repaired. So we will not meet next Monday. That just gives me extra time for the following Monday. But we will, I hate that we're missing a Monday right away at the beginning of January, but we will be back the following Monday for sure. Pizza pops and cottage cheese. That sounds. Yep, Gigi, I have this huge block of wax, and that we need to use it. Tino's tried, but yes, we all okay. Beeswax without an iron. Interesting. Bought a bag of wax and don't remember why. Okay. I still have some blocks of wax that I got at that bulk. If we do stuff and somebody doesn't have a block and wants a block, I'll still give it to you at that same discount price. But Sarah Munson did a great tutorial on using freezer paper, heat and bond, Pellon, etc. Awesome. Let's see here.
Eco paper.
Oh yeah, eco dyeing, eco paper, eco dyeing. Yeah, we're using things from ecology, things from outside, leaves and stuff like that. Yeah, for me, that turns out different every time. Sometimes it looks great. Sometimes I don't think it does so much, but let me write that down. Eco dyeing.
Thank you, Tina. Thumbs up, everybody, before you go.
Oh, thank you. Thanks, yeah, for reminding that. Gel printing, okay. Um, there are some specific series that I want to do on the gel plate. And like there's a series that I'm putting together on alcohol ink, of tons of different ways to use it. You've all bought alcohol ink, and I don't want it to just, sit there. Rusting fabric and paper. Ooh, cool. Snow, ice, and slush. How about making things or using snow, ice, and slush? Tony McGuire has videos on eco dyeing. Yeah, I think it's ECO, which is eco, ECHO, echo, I think. We've got a good start. So the things that we're going to mass make will be during the week. The things that we're going to try something or get new ideas for something that we haven't been using that's sitting in our room. Those are things that we'll do on Monday. It's 2:00, so I think we should wrap up. But I'm going to encourage you to think of a design or anything that you can do on the rest of these, and do it. And anything works. Really, anything works. Another simple one is to draw lines. And if I've got lines right here, I'll do it over here. I'll do the lines a different direction. You can do so many things with the lines. Just draw lines and then think, what can I do with lines? Whoops, my lines aren't even straight. That's okay. Draw lines and then go through and make them like those bead curtains. And you're going to put like a round bead on the lines every so often. Like that. And seriously, just think of, anything. And this is also teaching your brain how to doodle. And when you teach your brain to doodle, then you're asking your brain to be creative and think of something instead of just using the go-to same things. Doodling is bringing out the creativity. And remember that the best way to bring out your creativity is to try something new, because you can't get stuck in the same lane if you're trying something new. And that's what we're going to use Mondays for, is to try something new and to use our supplies, use up our paper so we can buy more. Okay, so I love paper. I love pretty paper, and I love looking at it, and I never want to use it because I love looking at it. And I'm telling you that the more I use the pretty paper, the more excited I am about it, because it's fun to use the pretty paper and actually turn it into something. This was so much fun on Saturday night, because now I have something of this pretty paper that I love, that I can actually use. So yeah, don't be afraid to use the paper that you love. So I'm going back here to look and see what else. Making your own walnut dye. I haven't done walnut dye. Make snow ice cream. Yes, don't use the slush or the yellow snow. That is true. We used to make not slushies, snow cones with the fresh snow. My mom would buy root beer syrup, and we would make snow cones. But don't use the yellow snow or the slush. It's ucky. Oh, so everybody finish this just by whatever you want to do. Challenges to post it in the group. If you want to go in and color them with some colored pencils, go for it. If you don't, that's okay too. Another one that you can do is doing, let's see, where do I have? I don't have any big ones left. Do lines this way like 3, and then do lines that way like 3, and then lines this way like 3, and lines that way. So you just keep doing groups of 3 lines that end up connecting everything. and it just looks like a bunch of sticks. So that's an easy one to do. Let's see, what else do we do sometimes? Oh, another one that'll drive you crazy is just taking your marker and just don't lift it up off the paper and like just do a loop around here and go over here and do a loop and then over here and do a loop and just keep like doing swirly loopy like you threw a string down and the string is just all over the floor now. And when you look at the string, what does the string look like? That's what it looks like. That's a challenge for the brain that wants to do everything straight. Just loop it down. See, look, Debbie. Margie says, wow, Debbie, yours looks so awesome.
Oh, thank you.
I agree, Margie. I totally agree. But Debbie would probably be very critical of it and not feel the same. And Candy's the same. Yeah, it's we're just much more critical of our own. So the challenge is to finish this and then put it in the group, post it in the group, and just say fastest Zentangle I've ever done without even thinking about it. And then just watch people go, wow. Okay, I've got just a couple more squares. What am I gonna do? You can repeat. You don't have to only have everything once on there. You can repeat patterns. You can even break one I say square, but really it's one section, one whatever you want to call it. Let's see. Here's another one that these are all so small.
Lois, that's nice.
What's that?
Lois posted hers.
Oh, cool. Yay. Well, I'll go see it momentarily. I'm drawing a solid center and then 2 lines to the outside of the circle and then little lines that connect it.
Looks good, Lois. There it is.
I'm going to go in there and look at it. Lois is the first to post it?
I got it. Yeah, I got it right there.
Oh,
I got it.
Okay, sweet. Hang on. Let me go full screen to you. Wow.
Very nice.
That's cool. I saw a mushroom, then I saw a trombone. I mean, not a trombone, a tuba. And then I saw a big old mushroom cloud. And then I saw a snake down there. That's cool. I like it. Thanks, Lois, for being the first one to post. That looks awesome. Okay, the rest of us have to get in there and do that too.
Look, I still have a ton of spots left. I did way too many, obviously.
Way too many spots. Well, here's the thing. You can leave something white, but you can also you did some small ones, you colored them in, good. You can repeat a pattern that was, on this end, repeat it over to the other end. Repeat something that you...
Nothing.
Okay, do this one. This one's easy. Oh, let me go back here. So I start on any point on the bottom and I'm coloring in like it's a round sun, but obviously not a full circle. And then I'm going above it, and you can make that space as big as you want, and putting 2 lines, and then just drawing lines out from that little sun to the 2 lines. That'll take up a bunch of space. It can be quite relaxing. As long as you allow yourself to just relax and do whatever and say it doesn't matter. It's just paper and pencil, and not get hung up on something having to be perfect or a certain way. Yeah, I've still got spaces too, Candy. Now let's see. Something, don't have very many circle things. We've got the spirals. You can just do, that's another one that's easy to do. Do circles or like egg shapes and do them all different sizes, like stones. So go through and do several here and there. And then when you go back, you have to fill in all the spaces. That's what helps you to get all the different sizes. Bunch of circles. And then you could do like we did on, like I did on the scales, and you can go back and pick a circle here and there to make it dark. Making things not all the same size is really kind of nice because it helps your brain get away from the perfection of trying to do them all the same, and they don't end up all the same. That's hard for our brains. Okay, so just get a bunch of circles or egg shape or stones in one. What else have we got? Let's see. I've got a skinny one over here. I've got a lot of little tiny ones. I'm going to color that one in because it's very tiny. And you can always just start at one point and draw lines up all the way around so they all come out of the same point. That's always a good, especially for small ones that fill here and there. Okay. Everybody's so focused on doing this. Spiral. We haven't done any spiral. I always try to make my spiral the same size, and I just can't do it. They're never the same distance apart, and they're never the same height. But as long as they're all wonky, then it's okay. It looks like that's the way it's supposed to be, right?
Margie says she relaxes better with yarn and a hook.
Yeah.
Julie said coloring is her easy relax. Coloring stresses me. Lois said, goodness gracious, what about failing? I bought what I thought was a die. Then when I got home, it's for foiling. Yeah, what's the difference between the dies and the foiling die things or whatever those are?
What do you,
because they put the things for foiling, they put it in with the dies. At least at Hobby Lobby they do.
You mean like dies like you're going to put through your die cut machine?
Well, that's what they look like, but they say on them that they're for foiling.
Foiling, okay.
But I don't know what foiling is, so.
Okay, so let me add foil to our list. That's a good one. Yeah, how many of you have foil and have no idea what to do with it? Yep. Or have used it for...
Oh, Gigi, that's pretty.
Do you have it on your phone? You want to show it?
Yep.
Whoops. Oh, cool. Wow. Hold it up a little closer and flat.
Okay, just
there
a second.
You go. Right there. Right there. Perfect.
Whoops. There.
Yeah.
Isn't that pretty?
Yeah, that is. Way to go, Gigi.
Way to go, Gigi.
That's awesome. Yeah. Love it. Laminator for foiling. Yep. There's a machine that you use for that. Yep. But you don't have to. You don't have to have the machine to do foiling. There are other things you can do with it. So I'm writing down foil sheets or just foil as one of the things. Mink machine, the Heidi Swap mink machine is the one for the foil, but you can use the laminator. Hello, Christina. How are you?
Oops, that went wrong.
That's okay. Awesome. Okay. Let's see if there's anything else come up there. Yeah, Gigi, you did a really great job. We try to get the last couple done here. We're about ready to sign off. Now, y'all, we won't be here next Monday because of surgery, but y'all know what we're doing now on Mondays. And I've got the list that we put together today. So, let's see. Trying to remember some of the other things that are just to fill in my last couple little spots here. Because I only have a couple. Maybe I'll just make this one.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Are they small? Can you turn a couple of them into one and use the line between them as part of your
they're not
design?
Too big, but they're too big to be just colored.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to color that one in. You can also leave a white one. Might leave that one white. Here's another thing that you could do. Go to the very center of it, make a circle, color that circle in, and then draw lines from that circle going out. All the way around.
About circled out.
Right there, it looks like a spider, but I'll keep going. Don't want a spider.
I obviously picked a big block that was too big for all these little circles.
Oh, yeah. They could take forever.
You're funny.
Do spirals in a big block because they're easy. So you can do that.
I've spiraled out, man.
Yeah. I can't spiral straight, but it's okay. Who cares? Nobody ever said it had to be straight. That's the point. The hot foil machine is the mink. Yeah, the mink machine. I am doing great, Christina. It's been a great weekend. It's been a great new year. I've spent it all with you guys, all Friday day, Friday night, Saturday day, Saturday night, Sunday working on invoices, and today. So those of you who haven't gotten your invoice yet, I'll be getting those out this afternoon and starting to pack orders. You did full sheets. I didn't know what we were doing. Hers was like 4 inches by 3 inches. That was smart. Lois just did a small one. I did say a full sheet, and she just did a small one.
But you didn't say what size is a full sheet.
That's true. I didn't. So hopefully you didn't get an 11 by 17.
No.
See, she likes this is actually Zentangle, Christina, but our point of Mondays. Well, let me go back for everybody who came in late. Where did we put it? We've been talking about some stuff today. We've been talking about the fact that creativity takes courage, and we've been talking about have no fear of perfection because you'll never reach it anyway. That's from Salvador Dali. Creativity takes courage is from Henry Matisse. But I've been saying that 2022 is the year of 3 things. Where did I write them? I wrote them somewhere on one of these pieces of paper. It's probably under here. Hopefully it's under here. There it is. I've been saying that 2022 is the year that we're going to get organized, release our creativity, and use our supplies. So Tuesdays tips in 10 is for getting organized. Every Tuesday, there will be 10 minutes or less. Tomorrow's is only about 5. In 10 minutes or less, a bunch of tips on one topic. And so every week, hopefully, you can get some new ideas. Some of your things will be featured in there as well. And these are not all coming from me. When I ask those questions in the group about how do you store this or organize that, that's why I really want your feedback, because everybody does it differently. And I'm using all those, featuring all of you in those Tuesdays tips in 10. Somebody's going to pick up an idea from your how you store it. So the more different ways and more ideas that we have, the more people will reach to be able to help organize. So that's the Tuesdays. And then Mondays is all about releasing creativity and using our supplies. We've all got stuff that we have never used or we've used once. We only have one thing to do with it. We want new ideas, stuff that we maybe been afraid to use or don't know how to use. It sounded cool, but what do I do with it? Those are the things we've been making a list of today. The products that you haven't used or want more ideas of how to use, and the things that you want to mass make. The mass makes won't be on Mondays. That will be on the using our supplies, releasing our creativity, because the best way to release your creativity is to try something new. The mass making will be throughout the week, and we'll just pop up, we're going to mass make, envelopes today. We're going to mass make pockets. We're going to mass make 3 different kinds of paper clips, whatever it is. So those will be during the week, so that you'll have one to put into your idea book, inspiration book, resource book, the one that we made Saturday night, or that you already have, or hopefully will make. And then the others you can use. And the mass makes, you can just keep them in an envelope or a box or a bag. A gallon baggie works great for that, or a 2-gallon baggie if they're larger items. And then you put together a journal. You can just grab something out of every bag and away you go. Add the one element on it that makes it tie in with that journal. And you can whip a journal together literally in a day or two, without needing, a month to do it. So apparently I don't know how to post. Not working. Done. Your post isn't working. It isn't going up there. You'll get it. It's just having a moment. It could be Facebook too, just having a moment. So I just tricked Christina. I tricked everybody into getting your brain to release the creativity by taking a marker, drawing an S, coming back up, doing some squiggles, bringing it up to the top and down again. And now you have a thing with a bunch of sections in it. And then we started doing just different designs in the sections. And it is Zentangle. It is Zentangle, but I didn't say Zentangle because I know a lot of you have told me you don't do Zentangle. But it doesn't have to be Zentangle to my brain. It can just be, I'm just going to play in this square. You're doing a good job of filling those squares up there, Candy. I like it. Doing a really good job. Let's see. We could do more. Let's see. I've got some squares I need to fill up here too. That's not the one I was working on. Where's the one I was just working on? Right here. Here's the one I was just working on. I knew I didn't have that many squares left. Maybe I'll let this one be dark too. It's nice to have some solid ones with small ones here and there, and some small white ones. I like the white space in there too. I'm trying to teach my brain how to doodle, because my brain thinks doodling has to be some perfect drawing or something, and I can't do it. Okay, have fun, Dawn, at Sammy's birthday party. And later, try posting it again later, because Facebook might just be having a problem right now. For sure. Love you, Dawn. Bye. Paper clips and bulb pins. Yes, but safety pins stump me. Interesting. Glennis, I'm going to add safety pins to the list. That's a great idea. Because you use bulb pins and paper clips all the time. Safety pins. I'm going to put slash bulb pins, and because other people may not use them enough. Okay, I like that. I just tried to put my pencil into the Sharpie lid. That's not going to work. All right. Couple. Yeah, that's where my brain is right now.
Not today anyway, but we may find a creative way to make it work.
Not today. It's not going to work. No, if you've got to fill up some space, just start drawing lines, different directions in each one. That's all you need to do. Okay, and last one in the middle here. Maybe it should have an M in it. Do something with a K in one of those, Candy. An M. Mountains. There you go. Look at that. Put your initial, put a K in one of them, and then just follow it. This was a tiny space, but in a big one, just follow it all the way down to tiny and then up on the top. So you're basically just outlining it.
Yeah.
Debbie, are all your spaces full? They are. Yours looks good. Yay. I like it. Okay. Take a quick picture here. We're going to post them in the group.
I put mine in.
Can't anyone else is either a well, got to go. Okay, so Marianne, I want to stop in and say to you that I'll be praying for you and that I'm praying to God that he will guide the surgeons. Oh, thank you, Christina. Love and hugs for speedy recovery. Thank you. Thank you. I will never turn away prayers. I am a fan of prayers. I believe that they do help in a variety of ways. So I appreciate that. I have full confidence in the surgical team. It's the same team that just replaced my hip replacement, which was amazing. And it's the same anesthesia team, so I have full confidence in them, but you never know what can happen. So I do appreciate that. Thanks for stopping in to say that. Clusters are fun. Sewing on paper. Got a used sewing machine. I haven't used it yet. Good, Tabitha. We put clusters on the list, and we put sewing on paper on the list. I do have a tutorial. It's kind of long because I did it a long time ago before I realized that I really don't like long tutorials. I want to shorten them up. And it's actually even 2 parts where I took register tape, like receipt tape, the rolls, and sewed them, making snippet rolls, but I sewed onto them with paper and fabric and
we can make paper ruffles.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
You
do those all the
time. What are those?
Yeah. Oh, yes. Tabitha, it was you who added it up above. That's right. I've got that down. Yeah. So I do have that snippet roll one in YouTube if anybody wants to see that, but I think we can do that. Meander who? Meander who? Meander book. Oh, where did I set that? Where did I set that one? I think I put it in a thing for Saturday Night Live's ideas. But a meander book is a book where you take one piece of 12 by 12 paper and you score it a bunch of different ways, and then you cut it several different ways, and then you end up folding it in rows, up here, down there, up here, down here. And then you glue a couple things together. And in the end, say with this 12 piece of paper, I would end up with a book that's 3 by 3. That's the one, a 3 by 3 book. And I put a chipboard. I just took little pieces of chipboard and made a chipboard cover for it. Another way to use up that chipboard, Marty. And you open it up, and the whole book is connected. And it's called a meander book, I guess, because you're just meandering up here and down here and up here and down here, and the whole book stays together in one piece. You could do it in this one. You could do it on this one. You can do it with any. You could do it with any 12 by 12 paper. Will work out perfect squares. Give you a 3 by 3 meander book. So we'll do that. Yeah, that's Margie's kind of humor. She would have said that. We'll do a meander book. That we might do that on a Saturday night too. And they're so easy. You could we could mass make those on a Saturday night. I'm looking to see if I've got that nearby. I have a couple of things I've been collecting, stuff that we might want to do on a Saturday Night Live. I'm pretty sure I put it in one of those. But hey, and that all started when Tina posted the one that Gigi's mom sent her in the Christmas exchange. She sent her a meander book. And Gigi posted it. And I saw it and thought, I haven't seen a meander book in years. So then we all started looking at meander books. I'm working my way to the other side of the desk very carefully with a crutch. Let's see if I put it over here. I'm not sure that I did. Oh, we can mass make envelopes of all different sizes and shapes. They don't have to be like standard envelopes. We can do the tall, skinny one. We can do coin envelopes. We can do tiny coin envelope journals or folios. Those are cute. Any other mediums that we have that everybody's got and not using a lot? We can use those on a Monday. New ideas and ways of using the mediums. You can see that we all just like to get together and just craft, hang out and craft. So I must have put that in the other bin. Darn it, I wanted to show you. Well, here's a couple. These are the kind of, too many ideas. I've got boxes and bins of things that I make and set aside thinking, we might want to do this on a Saturday Night Live or something. Here's just some things I started throwing together with the 12 by 12 sheet. 12 by 12 sheet. You can make these tiny, they're almost like folios. I used a few of them, but with automatic tuck spots built in, and then I had tucks on the outside, and then the parts and pieces that were left that were cut off, made little things like that, and I made little tags out of them, and the tags went inside these. What did I do with this one? That one was cardstock. This one is plain paper. Oh, yeah, I used several of them. So there's lots of paper left to make little pockets and tucks and tags out of and put in there. I didn't even glue that one down yet. Here's another thing that we could do. I've got several of these. This is one way to use vellum and also to store the faux stamps that we're going to mass make. It's like an accordion book, and it's got vellum pockets. There's 3 vellum pockets on each one, kind of a small, medium, and a large pocket, and it's just to store the faux stamps in. So you can make lots of faux stamps and store them even on the back.
I think I'm done.
That too. What?
I think I'm finally done.
Yay! So that, and I thought about making a bunch of these, filling them up with faux stamps and putting them in my Etsy shop. But this one has the sari silk. You can have the tie start at the front or start at the back. This one doesn't have the vellum on it yet. But all of this was done with, I want to say 1.5 12 by 12. Put the bead on the end of that one. Had one on there. It fell off. Put another one on. So here's and you can make them. You could make them as long as you wanted. So there's 4. So 12 pockets right there. Over on the back, there's 1 here, 6, and there's the front cover. Use your wings, not your words. Use your wings. Fly away, run away, run away. So we could do those. Too many years of watching YouTube. Yep, you made some of those. This overlap thing, it really was fun. What's fun, but don't look at the link. Oh, Margie's staying going to the other thing. Yeah, we're gonna. I think Linda's is starting pretty soon, isn't it? So we're gonna wrap up here because these are gonna be like 12 to 2 on Monday. I didn't intend to go this long. We're gonna go like 12 to 2. I need to go get the rest of the invoices out. Everybody's waiting for those so they can have them paid by Tuesday. But definitely Mondays will be 12 to 2, so we won't have one next Monday, but then we'll be back on it the following Monday. And I've got the list now, so we're going to jump right into using some of these things. What did you find worked best to glue the vellum pockets? Candy uses the Barely Art glue. I have not tried it. I've not tried the Barely Art because when I made these, I didn't have the Barely Art. But honestly, this one doesn't.
It's probably not going to work on a pocket because that's going to pull up. It'll pull up eventually with vellum.
With the Barely Art?
When you're going in and out like that with a pocket.
Oh, yeah.
But to glue down like the front of a slide or something.
So if I bring this up here, you can see. When you just glance at it, you don't really see it a lot because I did do some distressing on the edges. So the edges are all dark. And that's where the glue is. So the glue doesn't stand out because they're distressed anyway. But I just used a very tiny bead of art glitter glue. But if you are putting down a larger piece of vellum and want coverage over the whole thing, you put glue on it, you end up seeing glue spots and all over the place. Honestly, the thing that I found best for that is double-sided tape. Wide. You can go, depending how wide your piece of vellum is. I've got double stick tape that's 6 inches wide. And you could even get the sheets of double stick tapes. You could put a whole sheet of vellum down on it and then peel the other side and put that straight down because we've had some really cool vellum at the sales that have designs already on it.
Yeah,
but
work that, but the pockets with the vellum, they rip over time. Even when you sew them in, they come up above
they come through the and I haven't had any problem with these coming up, but they haven't had heavy use either. So they could be done with other paper. The reason I like the vellum is to be able to see through them to see what your stamps are.
Yeah.
To be able to use. That was my biggest thing for that. I mean, I guess you could use acetate, but I don't think that's gonna glue down any better. But I haven't had any problems with these coming up. But again, they haven't had heavy use. I filled them up, then took them out, but haven't filled them up again. So
Julie says she has tape runner for vellum. I didn't know they made special tape for vellum.
Is it a special? Any tape runner. Yeah, which is the same thing as using a double stick tape, right? Yeah. So whether you use, a super thin double stick tape or a little bit thicker, or
to the back, that would work too.
Yeah,
that would work even better.
That's where I said I have like 2 inch, 3 inch, 5 inch, 4 inch, 5 inch, and 6 inch rolls of this. You know, if I want to put down a whole sheet, I don't want to be able to see lines or seams in it. And if I want the whole thing laid down, I'll just put down a 6-inch piece of double stick tape, put the vellum on that. Not every tape runner will work properly, Julie says. So they don't all stick to it well. I find that, well, I was going to say the double stick tape, but I don't use a ton of different kinds. I primarily have the red, and I have some from scrapbook.com, and I've got,
Yours is really sticky.
what is it? What is it, Debbie? Score tape.
Score tape.
Score tape, the red one, and the ones from scrapbook.com are really the only ones that I, oh, Margie says she makes the pocket a little bit bigger and folds them over to the back. Then you can use anything.
When you're doing the Kathy Orta books, there's that half inch.
Okay, yeah, if you fold it over to the back, and then you could cover it with something on the back.
Yeah,
interesting.
Your page protectors. Those work too, and they're a little bit thicker than the vellum, and they do hold up better if you ask me.
Oh yeah.
And that's what I went to use when I use pockets. I use that.
Okay, that's a good idea. That's kind of like the acetate.
I have a ton of those.
Interesting. All right, we're gonna close up here. Hi, Ray. The 3-ring page protectors. Yeah. We're going to close up here. I know some of our group are going to go watch Linda Israel, who's on Monday afternoon, and or Tuesday morning for Julie. But don't forget to post your art piece from today in the group. No matter how awkward it feels, because I used a big fat Sharpie, I will do it. I will post it, even though it feels very awkward and you know, discombobulated because I used a big fat Sharpie so everybody could see it. I will still post it. So if I'm going to post it, everybody else has to too. There's a glue for parchment paper called Perga glue. Wonder if that would work. Ooh, that might be worth checking out. If it's specifically for parchment, that's got to be very similar to vellum. Okay, so tomorrow at noon, watch for the Tuesday's Tips at noon, our Tuesday's Tips in 10, which will be the very first one out. Yeah, be nice to me because it's the very first one out. And then I don't know if we'll have a chance to do make because I want to make sure all the orders are out before surgery. But if I can get them all out, then we will. We'll do a mass make at the end of the week. Otherwise, I will see you. Let's see, Saturday. What is Saturday? Oh, Saturday night is Saturday Night Live. I'll need to put in the description box what we're doing so you'll know what to bring. That is my Saturday Night Live. That's the 8th. So we'll have that for sure. And then we'll skip Monday. We'll have Tuesday. We'll be back on track next week. Okay? Love you all.
Ladies.
Thank you all for coming. Looking forward to Mondays. And I'll be looking for your art pieces in the group. Have a great Monday afternoon.